All righty. What is going on? Shout out to
What's
Nick in
up?
the chat here. He said minus 175 Danny, plus 150 Bush. We actually were both on time. We were just
Yeah.
yapping about stuff, which is always like an
Oh,
off chance that we could be just yapping without the camera on behind the scenes, which is exactly what was taking place. So we were both here on time. We just decided to keep pushing it back because we were talking about Flock League decisions and Michigan, Ohio State and
oh
stuff.
God. Yeah, and I mean the positive, at least with just the state of Michigan, will be on Thursday night. And I was telling Corey, I'm leaving on Wednesday morning, gonna stay overnight on Wednesday, gonna stay overnight on Thursday, and then drive back on Friday. We're gonna be there Thursday night football. Got to take down the Lions. Obviously, a big boost without Amon St. Brown, and I'm sure you saw the news with Frank Ragnow yesterday. But he
Yeah,
failed this
Ragnar's not going to be cleared to play this year or whatever.
failed his physical with a grade 3 hamstring strain, aka his hamstring is falling off the bone.
Yeah, which is crazy that he wouldn't have noticed that.
How do you just not notice that? Like, you got to
Yeah.
be a tough motherfucker to just think, well, that's just normal hamstring pain. Like, I'm good. Like,
Yeah, that
what?
like shut Mike Evans down for like 8 weeks
Yeah,
or
literally.
whatever. Yeah. Anyways,
Dude, every time I hear hamstring, grade 3 hamstring, I just think of like, the
brisket.
meat. Yeah, like when
Yeah.
it holds the fucking bone and just falls right off.
Yeah. Okay, quick reissue to what we talked about on Thursday. If you are a question that says like 3-4 days ago, we're going to answer them because we weren't able to on Thursday. Anything that's still relevant, anything that's still a decision for you guys, we'll make sure we get answered for you. But just keep in mind, all of you should have a voucher for whatever type of question you submitted, whether it was a start sit or a trade question. And in DMX Box's case, we actually sent him a team review voucher because he sent a review on Thursday that we weren't able to get to. So if you are wondering, oh my God, I didn't get my question answered, you guys are bullshit or whatever, we sent you a voucher. We talked about this on Thursday. So we will answer your question, whatever's left remaining. So Sevi obviously would have had Jalen Hurts play already. Chase Brown would have played already, who I would have said to start there. Genty or Harvey? Any preference there?
Sorry, I just took a big swig of my coffee. Genty or Harvey?
Yeah.
I have Ashton Genty ranked higher. I just think the workload's impenetrable. It's close though. RJ Harvey, I mean, you get the matchup advantage there. The one thing I will say about Washington specifically, again, maybe you have, specifically the last few weeks how they've done it. Specifically, the last few weeks how they've done against the run, but they are currently the single worst defense in EPA per play against the pass.
Yeah, no, they are not that great of a defense. Let's just put it that way. AJ Brown, hopefully you started. I would have told you to start AJ Brown because he had a great
wide receiver 13 for
Friday.
me this week.
What's up?
Yeah, he was the wide receiver 13 for me in my rankings going into the week. So didn't quite expect 35.4. Also, playing him in my home league was not fun considering I'm trying to compete and wrestle a bye week away. I'm one game behind and I have the point score tiebreaker. And AJ Brown just completely left me in the dust. Rome Odunze on the other side. Let's just say the Friday game didn't go my way having Odunze and Barkley.
I had Hurts in my home league, and my opponent had Smitty, so I was kind of okay with AJ being the one that went off, knowing that I got the Hurts points there. McConkey over the rest of these guys, correct?
Yeah. Sorry, that got me.
Tight ends here, Brenton Strange, Colston Loveland. Again, I would have told you to start Loveland on Friday. Hopefully you didn't, and you can still go with Strange today because he probably will have a better game than Loveland did because he didn't really do a whole lot, but and then on this question,
you didn't have Odunze in, and you could put Michael Wilson or Harvey in.
Yeah, again, assuming you didn't have Odunze go, and I actually would have told you to start Harvey over Odunze if we had answered this on Thursday. So I would roll with Harvey in this situation. But if you had Odunze, I mean, I can't really blame you. It was he's a guy with a high target share.
Yeah, I will say I would have said Harvey or Michael Wilson regardless. This is a full PPR. I can't really see because our banner.
Yeah, it's full PPR right here.
Oh, okay. Becomes close. If you want to go with the touchdown equity of Harvey, I don't mind that. 9-2 Broncos team probably going to run it up against Washington.
Yep. T. Morton here has opinion on Dowdle or Hampton if he's back. Well, obviously we know now that Hampton is not back, so you just roll with Rico Dowdle. Anything else here? I mean, hopefully you started Christian Watson. I doubt you did. DJ Moore, obviously not a great game. Zach Ertz versus Cade Otton, I guess, would be a conversation point. I actually prefer Cade of the two options. I think with Terry coming back with Debo there, you could probably expect a little bit less of the target
Denver.
Zach Ertz.
Yeah, against Denver.
Cade's got a really good matchup against Arizona, and Baker's healthy. and Bredesen's playing, which is going to help our offensive line. Chris Godwin, a little bit more snap share. Egbuka, hopefully. I talked about this in the stat of the game, but the man coverage defense, fantasy points per route run, Arizona's dead last in the NFL. So, and Egbuka is primarily really good against zone, but if they're bad against man also, I just expect the team to move the ball a lot better, especially if Godwin's out there running more routes.
Yeah.
Bucky's running the ball too.
Egbuka's a fascinating one because, I mean, the usage has been there, but with odd the matchup over Ertz, I think that's pretty simple. I like that you mentioned that with the Cardinals game, though. I'm very curious to see how Godwin looks. The reason why I was kind of mentioning Egbuka specifically is when I was going through it on the tier list, I'm like, where can I actually rank this guy? Like mid wide receiver 2 feels about where he should be in my rankings right now, but I could totally see this being he should be a top 8 guy after this week, or he should be literally a wide receiver 3 because he hasn't had a 10-point week in 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, where do I have Egbuka ranked? I have him at wide receiver 12 at the moment right now. I have him like kind of right in the same range as like Lad McConkey, Chris Olave, assuming he plays, Jalen Waddle, Tedero McMillan. I think you have to put respect on the target share because as we talked about,
I've been putting respect on the target share for like 6 weeks, bro.
Of course, but like if you're putting respect on the target share and at the same time Bredesen, Godwin, and Irving and Hassan Reddick on the defensive side are all back, then I think you're going to get a better offensive output performance from the team, which would help Egbuka primarily.
Yeah, fair.
Again, I get being skeptical on Egbuka. I just think he should have. I'm not saying he'll have like a 30-point day or anything, but I think you could expect like a 10, 15-point floor today, just given that the offense has a better matchup too. Like you also aren't playing the Rams. The Rams are a really good defense. You aren't playing the Bills on the road, which is a tough environment to play in, and you're not playing the Patriots, who had Christian Gonzalez on him. He's faced a shadow corner in 3 straight games. Christian Gonzalez, Christian Benford, and Emmanuel Forbes have shadowed him 3 straight games.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he still needs to just convert on these plays because,
of course, but Baker also needs to hit him on these plays, which he missed him on a long touchdown against the Rams.
No, you're not wrong on that. I'm just saying. I mean, we have one game in the last, what is that, 6?
Where we scored one game above 10 PPR points. A game in which, though, he had been shadowed by Christian Gonzalez, and he scored 22 points against him.
For sure. It's not just this game, though. I mean, we're talking about 12 targets converted into 4 for 58 for a horrible secondary against Detroit. Like,
well, I believe he was coming off the hamstring injury. Remember, he didn't practice all week, and it was a week later.
100%. And again, maybe if you want to say the same thing about the Saints, I'm just done giving excuses. Like, I know the player's talented. I know the usage is there, but can we see it show up in the box score?
Yeah, it's going to show up this week. It's going to show up this week. I'm not saying he'll have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, but I think we'll at least see like 7 for 90 or something like that. Like, I think we'll see a solid game out of him.
He's going to be started in 90+% of the leagues. Like, realistically, unless you're in like a fucking 2 or 4 man league,
or you're just got a goated team or something like that.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could start up to 4 wide receivers, even for that matter. He'll make most of those lineups.
Yeah, for sure. Another disgruntled junior. Again, DMX box, because we didn't get to this on Thursday, we did send you a voucher to resubmit at a later date. You can save it for whenever you want to use it. But hopefully everything that we tell you here is still relevant. Even though he said, okay, hi, looks like I might squeeze into playoffs. Any advice on what I should do? Package one of my running backs plus BTJ for an upgrade at flex, Caleb Williams, and a running back for a premier quarterback, etc. This is a redraft question. So this is not a dynasty question that he has here. Any insight and advice would be much appreciated. So is it going to tell us which team is his? Let me double check in the...
Is his team not the top one?
I'm just going to double check in the advice section here to make sure I know exactly which team is his.
He's 5. He's the 5.
Is he 5? Oh yeah, another disgruntled junior. Sorry, the site has like a little bit of a rework, so I'm getting used to the new layout here. Okay, this week, hopefully you didn't start Caleb Williams. I had Jackson Dart ranked over him, so hopefully you did start Jackson Dart instead of Caleb Williams because Caleb didn't have a ranked
higher. Let me take a look. I had Dart higher. I had Dart at 10 and I had Caleb at 13.
Yeah, and Dart definitely with the better projection here. I had Caleb at 14 and Dart at 12. So hopefully you are starting Dart and not Caleb Williams. Hampton obviously isn't going to play, so Henderson and Judkins are going to be your lead backs here.
You moved Lamb down to wide receiver 9?
I moved him down there after the whole Pickens might be wide receiver 1 fiasco that happened last week. So
even with that, dude, he was top 7 every day.
Yeah, I probably would have. I probably got to move him up after this week. But either way, this team's in great shape this week because you got the big performance out of CeeDee Lamb. Tyler Warren it sounds like is going to go today, even though he has like the stomach flu or whatever. And everybody else has pretty good matchups. Like I love what Judkins represents against the number 32 ranked zone rushing defense. San Francisco against zone rushing concepts, dead last in success rate in the NFL. So I think Henderson and Judkins can give you good performances. Anything that like stands immediately out to this team where you go, this is a place where you can upgrade. He's 7-5. He said he's going to sneak into the playoffs most likely, especially knowing that he's fourth in points
It's
for.
a start 7?
Yeah, it's a start 7. And he brought up, like, should I use Caleb plus a running back for a premier quarterback? Should I use Brian Thomas plus a running back for a better flex option?
To me, I'm cool rolling that quarterback core, knowing that's a one quarterback league. I just think the running back or the wide receiver you would have to attach to Caleb would just completely diminish your depth. And
it's not like you have like Jameson Williams as your fourth receiver or something. You don't really have anything else to start if you move off of one of Judkins, Henderson, Hampton. Hampton would be the one that I'd be maybe interested in doing that with, just because I'm a little bit worried about Hampton in general. Like when he comes back on the field, is he going to be the same player and stuff? But for the most part, I actually kind of like that your flex decision every week is Hampton versus BTJ.
And this might be the boring answer, but unless you want to like clean off an Ertz off this roster, you don't really need him. You have Tyler Warren, you're feeling good there. As much as I like Josh Downs, if there's another receiver you liked from a bench stash perspective with more upside, perfectly cool with that. If it's a Luther Burden type, if it's
why isn't Christian Watson in my rankings?
Yeah, I mean Christian Watson.
I don't know why. This showed up last time we were doing this too, and it says he's in my weekly rankings, and for some reason he's not in my redraft rankings. Okay, so I gotta add him in. For some reason he wasn't there.
The same thing happened to me, by the way. I'm just looking at it right now. My rest.
Maybe Christian Watson had something on the back end that the devs had to fix or something like that.
Yeah. He wasn't in mine either, so definitely that's what happened.
Okay, well, either way, I mean,
with that being said,
Watson helps your depth a little bit more. But yeah, stashing a Matthew Golden, a Brandon Ayuk, a Luther Burden, somebody like that.
Gun to your head, you taking Christian Watson or Stephon Diggs rest of the
season? Christian Watson or who? Sorry,
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs. I definitely would take Stephon Diggs. I don't have Christian Watson ranked anywhere near there.
Really?
Yeah. Why though? Christian Watson's like in the like 30s for me. Like I have him around where I have like a Ricky Pearsall, Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin type.
But why though?
I mean, I don't think he's ultra reliable, especially if Jaden comes back this week. And Golden hasn't been out there for a couple games either.
He has 22 targets and 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games, and he just played his best game of the season.
Yeah, no, he's been great. He's been great. I still just view him though, like philosophically as like a boomer bust kind of wide receiver 3, like similar to the way I view like Quentin Johnson, who's ranked one spot ahead of him for me.
Yeah, I just think he should be part of this tier at the very minimum. He should be above Romeo Doubs.
Yeah, he's above Romeo Doubs for me. I just don't think he's quite on the level of like Diggs, J-Mo, Brian Thomas.
Well, J-Mo's not in that tier.
He is with a St. Brown injury for the next 2 games.
No, I'm saying he's way higher than that.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Like, I gotta move him up. I haven't moved him since the injury.
Like he scored 18 plus points in 4 of his last 6 games. Now, obviously, that gets kind of construed because he had 2 goose eggs in there, but at least the next 2 weeks he's a wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I mean he's got to be a top 20-ish receiver rest of season, given that he's going to be great for the next couple of weeks.
I'm going higher than that, man. I think he should realistically be in the range of like Tedero, McMillan, Lon McConkey, and Justin Jefferson.
I wouldn't quite put him to that level, but I don't think it's outrageous.
I mean,
I have him right near like Smitty, Pittman. I think Marv's going to bounce back when he's healthy, but I have him ahead of Marv. Like Flowers, I think is going to bounce back. Odunze, I think is going to bounce back, but he's ahead of those guys. It's just that's the tier.
Yeah, I have him at 14 right now, and honestly, like the tier is 13 through 21 for me, and Jalen Waddle at the top of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, I mean, let's ask this question with AJ Brown. I have him at 11.
AJ Brown, I have him at 15. Okay. I have Waddle, T. Higgins, Lad McConkey, and Igbuka immediately ahead of him.
You have T ahead of him?
Yeah, dude. T with Burrow back. Are you kidding me? T has been a top 10 receiver since Flacco took over, and now he has Burrow back.
Fair. I'll move him up, but he has a concussion too.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be back in week 14. It's a long rest period that he has.
Yeah. Sorry, just adjusting some
stuff. But anyways, moving back to DMX Box's review here. The only thing that sticks out to me is if there's an affordable way to get a quarterback upgrade, I'd be okay doing it. Like, let's say all it costs you was Jackson Dart plus Christian Watson to get like an every week starter caliber quarterback. Like, I don't know, like, because I don't want to buy in on Lamar Jackson right now. He like
No.
simply looks bad. I don't really want to buy in either on Jalen Hurts because he doesn't look that great. Like,
I'm a
would you do
keeper
that for Drake
stack.
May, for example? Jackson Dart plus Christian
No,
Watson for Drake May.
no. No, you need Christian Watson on this team. Brian Thomas Jr. is coming off of an injury, and he's insulated depth at this point in the year. If you have to throw Christian Watson out in a fantasy football playoff week, you're not completely terrified.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
No,
I understand.
this is an interesting looking team because there's not a whole lot of immediate moves that stand out to me because Hampton and BTJ are unsellable assets at the moment also.
And that's why I hate to just base this level of advice. But genuinely here, your team is on a 3-game win streak. You're at 7-5. Again, we'll see, what happens in
I
terms
mean,
of
you're
results
probably
this
up
week.
in your matchup this week, given
CD
what
Lamb
Lamb
had a big
did.
game.
Maybe he started Watson too. We don't know. I probably didn't though.
It's boring. I mean, maybe though, because Brian Thomas Jr. was questionable.
Yeah, and
So
Hampton got
maybe he
ruled.
did.
I mean, Hampton at the time though was expected to potentially play though.
Maybe, yeah. Regardless, though, you should be in a good spot. I know it's boring, but genuinely, I'm just seeing what this team's going to be able to give me. If you want to transition to Zach Ertz into a different depth option, Chris Rodriguez into maybe more upside. Realistically, guys like that, like I don't need to spend 2 bench spots on just average or below average, actually well below average depth for Chris Rodriguez and average depth when it comes to Zach Ertz as a tight end too. I would rather get the upside pieces that could legitimately hit my lineup in the playoffs because you have a Christian Watson to get you by. You have a Tajay Spears to get you by. Like realistically, Chris Rodriguez and Zach Ertz specifically aren't doing much to benefit your team. The guys that I'm looking at here, like Luther Burden specifically needs to be rostered because we have seen time and time again when he gets his 55, 65% of the routes, he's going to be able to contribute. Now, obviously, you're not going to throw him into your lineup anytime soon. But the one game we have, if DJ Moore left early, if Roma Dunze got banged up, if anything were to happen where this guy become an 80+% route share player, he's hitting your lineup. So guys like that in a start 7 league, I don't care about the 8 to 11 point projections on my bench in that type of format.
Yeah, and you could drop Ertz. If you want to roster a second tight end, just drop Ertz for Loveland right now. Like you might as well roster Loveland as your second tight end behind Warren because Warren realistically is an every week starter anyways. The only way that you would not start Warren is if Loveland is on the level of Warren at some point over the next couple of games. Maybe it's like an Odunze injury or Komet injury or something.
And just from a general perspective, the way I kind of look at it is if you're in a start 7 or a start 8 league, your bench players, like, you want a couple guys that are usable utility players that you can plug in.
I don't even think you do. You could probably just pick up a guy like that if you had to the week of.
And that's what I mean. It's like a lot of people will feel comfortable by that. Sure. 1 or 2 max, because you need at least 3 big time upside shots to actually win your league. Like when we look at, look at the Flock League last year with Avery, a guy like Jacoby Myers hitting down the stretch for him was big.
Didn't he have Isaac Guerrero in his lineup?
Isaac Guerrero in his lineup.
Well?
Yeah. Being able to hit on those guys that are consequential production pieces down the stretch is big. And sometimes they just don't actually yield themselves to you until it becomes too late. And you want to be able to be proactive and roster them because if Byshal Tutin's a starting running back in week 16, he doesn't need to be on your waiver wire.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Just a general philosophy for those of you guys. I know I'm a little bit sick and that sounded raspy, but so be it.
Yeah, we could probably move on to the other start sits and whatnot that we have. Also, if anybody in the chat, if anybody wants this assignment, before 1 p.m. kickoff, if anybody sees any news relating to Dalton Kincaid, throw it in the chat because I need to know if I have to start Cade Otton in the Flock League or if I'm going to be starting Dalton Kincaid at the 4 p.m. window. And again, I don't know. If you were in my position, Danny, would you just go with a 4 p.m. window tight end just so I have the pivot option? I'm worried that Kincaid's not going to play. I think there's like a greater than 50% chance that he doesn't play because they elevated a tight end to the practice squad last night.
I mean, even if he does play, like he's gotten 2 duds in the last 3 weeks.
Well, and his first game back from his last injury, the quad injury or whatever that he had before the bye, his first game back, he only played like 30% of the snaps too. They've already not been playing him a lot of the snaps. They use Jackson Hawes and Dawson Knox a lot. So I'd be worried.
I don't think he's going to be back.
I think just the game environment of that Bucks game, and Cade Otton's role, like I'm going to get 80 to 90% of the routes out of Cade Otton. I might get 30 to 40% out of Dalton Kincaid, even if he plays. So
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the
He
thing. You
catch a
gotta go.
touchdown because he's, he plays with Josh Allen and Kincaid's good. And he's also, I talked about this in the stat of the game too. The Steelers are one of the heaviest man defenses in the NFL, and Kincaid is one of the only players on their team that beats man coverage at an above average rate.
Which is pretty hilarious because,
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
not
ideal.
great. Yeah, beat reporters don't expect, and I've been following this too, and I feel like he's not going to play. That's why I just picked up on. I could have played Kyle Pitts, but I don't want to rely on 2 Atlanta Falcons players. I already have Bijan, and Bijan is enough that I have to rely on with Kirk Cousins' dog shit ass.
Yeah, no, I would have played it the way you did as well.
Bo Nix, Baker Mayfield. I'd be rolling with Bo Nix all day there. I think the matchup against Washington is electric tonight.
You gotta go with Bosif. I did mention this to you though. I guess the only worry you could possibly have is sorry, I zoned out. With Baker Mayfield is how's the shoulder?
It sounds like it's just he said, because everybody keeps making the parallels to when he had a shoulder injury in Cleveland, he played like shit. And it was the same injury, quote unquote.
Well, that's why I brought it up.
But it's not the same injury. He had a labral tear and a separated shoulder that he played through in Cleveland. He has a AC sprain grade 1 right now, which is Joe Flacco and Jordan Love already both played through this year.
And it's on the non-throwing shoulder, right?
Yeah, it's not on his throwing shoulder. His Cleveland one wasn't on his throwing shoulder either, but he got so afraid of contact because he had literally a torn labrum that he couldn't step into his throws, and he wasn't willing to create, and he was kind of just taking what the defense gave him. I think he literally said it's just a matter of pain tolerance. They've assured me that if I take a hit or two, it's not going to get any worse.
Well, so yeah, that's the thing with the AC joint, right? Because if you've seen Keenan Allen just standing after a game, with his uniform off, and you could see big bones popping out of his shoulder, right?
Yeah.
So that's an AC joint sprain. When it becomes that completely disfigured, that's a grade 3. With a grade 1, that just means it kind of shifted out of place, but it's tender to contact. So that's when you're a quarterback, that's why it's just a pain tolerance thing. Because depending on how many times he gets hit, depending on how many times he gets sacked, depending on how many times he's trying to lead into a throw and the defender just jams him in the shoulder, it's prone to any type of physical contact and very tender. But when it gets really, really bad, when it gets to a grade 2, a grade 3, that's when you'll see actual disfigurement. So
and I think Allen, too, to the point of starting Otton, he's also a quick target, and Baker's probably going to want to get the ball out of his hands quickly too.
Because I can relate a little bit here. You've probably heard Eagles fans talk about the practice squad wide receivers game from 2019 when they beat us, Philadelphia.
Was that the Travis Fulgham game?
It was Carson Wentz, and it was Greg Ward and Zach Ertz and all that. And I swear to God, Philadelphia fans, anytime they get the chance, will be like, yeah, Dak, with the season on the line in 2019, Wentz had practice squad wide receivers and Dak lost. Dak played that game with an AC joint sprain on his throwing shoulder.
Yeah, that's tough.
Keep this in mind. Nobody even fucking talks about that he played through an AC joint sprain on the actual throwing shoulder. And I hope so, D-Bell. I will be there live for the game against the Lions. So.
It's so funny because every time you text me something during game days, you always say genuinely, George Pickens is one of the best receivers in the league. And I'm like, dude, trust me, I believe that you're genuine when it comes to the Cowboys. You don't need to say genuinely. Okay, back to Pierre's question here.
Real talk, though. Don't let us in the offs.
No, I think that this is the situation where I would sit Bucky Irving. I think Jefferson and McConkey are good enough options that you could get away with sitting Irving here. That being said, Max Brosmer is starting for the Vikings. So if you were I don't trust Jefferson at all, I'm just going to start Irving.
Is that a bad thing?
What's up?
Is that a bad thing that Brosmer's starting?
This is where we're at as a society, that JJ McCarthy's that bad that we're saying, is it a bad thing that Max Brosmer's starting?
Without looking, I mentioned this stat when I was going through my wide receiver tier list.
Is the passing yards projection higher for Brosmer?
So I haven't seen that, but what I was going to say, kind of down the right track, by the way, that was kind of funny. His receiving yards per game with and without JJ McCarthy this year.
Oh, I bet it's a big difference because he had a couple big games with Wentz.
Yes.
Let me say 55 receiving yards per game with McCarthy and 96 with Wentz.
You're pretty much right on the head there because it was 53 yards per game with JJ McCarthy and 95 yards per game with
Oh,
Wentz.
that was a fucking great guess.
It was a scorcher. It was a scorcher. 95 yards per game with Wentz, but the one quarterback that can make Justin Jefferson look like a fucking mortal is my alum.
This is like, I don't think people realize how much of an indictment this is on JJ McCarthy. Like Kevin O'Connell can make it work with anybody, but he can't make it work with this kid. Does that sound familiar to you? Because the last quarterback that we said that about was Trey Lance.
Yeah, it's Zach Wilson all over again.
I don't even think it's the same situation though, because Zach Wilson was kind of in a bad spot. I think the closest comparable is Trey Lance, because Trey Lance was in such a great situation, and also Trey Lance wasn't healthy either.
I just think stylistically, like everybody said, if JJ McCarthy wasn't going to work out, he was going to look like Zach Wilson, and he's looked like Zach Wilson, except he doesn't get the excuse
play
of a bad
style wise.
situation.
He's closer to Wilson. I just think the way it's going down. Oh, it's only 6 starts. It's like, what did people say about Trey Lance? They're like, he hasn't had enough time and all this kind of stuff. He couldn't stay on the field either.
I got an offer to get JJ McCarthy for straight up a second in the league, and I declined it in my inbox.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, what am I going to be take lock at this point? Like the single worst investment you can make is a quarterback on the downslope, thinking that you're buying at a hedge point.
I truly dodged one of the most dog shit trades of all time in Flock Me Silly.
What happened?
Did I tell you what happened? So
No.
I think it was 2 off seasons ago. Let me see if I can find the actual results of this trade, because I got to go to JJ McCarthy's name and see.
Damn, I fucking sat DeAndre Swift for John Mechie. I didn't even realize that.
Oh, you got to see it on the phone. Okay. In Flock Me Silly, I traded Jackson Smith and Jigba for JJ McCarthy 2 years ago. Yeah. But I traded JJ McCarthy away for like a much better asset. So I dodged like a horrendously bad aging trade, but I ended up netting like, thankfully, not that bad of an asset out of it. Let me find this here.
Yo, McCarthy for JSN looks crazy right
I know.
To be fair, Corey, I can counter that. I have a worse Jackson Smith and Jigba trade. I traded Jackson Smith and Jigba for Tyreek Hill going into the last
Okay,
year.
never mind. This is equally as bad. I traded JSN straight for JJ McCarthy, and then I traded JJ McCarthy and a 4 for Tua Tagovailoa and a 2.
Oh,
I mean, it's still better than JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
2 and a 2 over JJ and a 4. We'll still take that, but that is bad. The fact that I traded JSN away for that is horrendous.
And like I said, okay, FSC Listen to League Dino. Who the fuck cares about roster value at this point? My team, by the way, still already the most valued team in the league. Let me go bind some raw points. Tyreek Hill, he's a top 3 pick in redraft. What's the harm in sending Jackson Smith and Jigba for him? What's the harm?
Oof.
Jackson Smith and Jigba hasn't broken out. Tyreek Hill's arguably wide receiver 1 in fantasy. Let's see. Year and a half later, I got taken back out to the fucking shed, and AJ's in second.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get dumped on.
Jared Goff, guys are killing my appetite by talking about shitty trades.
Yeah. Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. I mean, you would have already had to have started Jared Goff.
Even still, no. If you knew Jared Goff was scoring 20.6 points, I'd probably still say Stafford.
Yeah, I had Stafford ahead going into the week by a decent margin, so I would have said Stafford, but it's possible that he played Goff. Running back, RJ Harvey, Alvin Kamara, Chase Brown.
I would have said Chase Brown.
Yeah, I would have also said Chase Brown. And this is precisely, I wouldn't say I faded JSN, but I didn't buy into JSN as much because of Sam Darnold. And that's the second year in a row that Sam Darnold has fucked me over. So
I am curious. So if I go on underdog right now, by the way, the scenario where Darnold was actually a franchise quarterback and the Viking system wasn't the only thing that made him look good because JJ McCarthy is complete ass. Like that scenario, it was always possible, but everybody, if I were to ask you going into the season how likely that was that Darnold would be balling and JJ McCarthy would, even with the fucking system, look completely incompetent, that was like the 10% chance of happening.
I baked it into Justin Jefferson's range of outcomes, but I didn't bake it into JSN's. Like I baked it. I'm like, hey, what if JJ McCarthy can't replicate 4,500 yards and 30 plus touchdowns like Sam Darnold had? I baked that in, but I didn't bake in that Darnold was the reason that happened. I baked it in that it was more like, oh, because he's a young quarterback, he can't do it. More so than like it's Darnold being that good.
I finished with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I finished with
exactly at market on JSN. I don't know
8%.
how I did because
I
I
got
didn't
8%.
feel like I took him at all, but I also got him 8%.
Yeah, which you'll take if you're gonna be like I don't even say it's a soft fade. We're at market.
Yeah, but that's exactly how I felt about him, though. Being at market is exactly how I felt about JSN, where I'm like, yeah, I'll be around market, but I like don't feel excellent about him.
So part of my thing with him was earlier in the offseason, I wasn't taking him much at all because I'm like, okay, you move over. Oh shit, my nose. You move from a guy like DK Metcalf, true X wide receiver, doesn't command a shit ton of volume on your team. Like that's more beneficial as a slot wide receiver to play next to you versus Cooper Kupp, not a great separator, but he's going to command underneath volume. Like I think just stylistically with how the offense was looking coming into the year, that's why I was fading him, quote unquote, going into the last month of the season. What really changed for me in the last month of the year is when I actually looked at it, I'm like, dude, like this was a second-year player that was averaging 18 points per game down the stretch. And we're getting him in the third round. And I looked at that and I'm like, how many guys in other situations that we like their offenses maybe on paper better would be legitimately top 15 picks? And once I realized that, I'm like, I got to move JSN up. He ended up being, I think, an early to mid third round pick in my rankings by the end of the offseason. But at one point, I'm like, yo, I have to get him in the fourth round if I take him. And that just unfortunately diluted my shares early on.
Yeah, and quickly, we don't need to go into a huge tangent here. I just thought this was a very unique looking team that I'm advancing right now. With Stafford, Darnold, and Prescott as the quarterbacks, advancing Bucky, Irving, Quinshawn. This was a May 30th team. So Quinshawn I drafted early, not like super late at the end. But look at the receiver core, dude. Lamb, JSN, Smitty, Pickens. Like, what an insane receiver core. And unfortunately, this is a craft team, but I still have Tyler Warren. But anyways.
What's the site again? I forget.
What's up?
What's the site again?
bbmdb.com. But anyways, we can talk about that later. We got to get to some questions here.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna pull it on the side.
Romo Dunze probably was in your lineup, I would imagine, for D's nuts here. If you didn't, congrats to you because he didn't have a great game, in which case I would start Troy Franklin, but I imagine you started Romo Dunze process-wise. RJ Harvey would definitely be the flex here. I think very clearly he's the best option between him and Franklin and Pearsall and Higgins and Jake Ferguson. I would have definitely said to start Harvey there. Yeah, dude, I feel you, Cats. I have so many advancing. Like 3 of my 5 Great Dane teams that I'm advancing right now have Tucker Kraft on them, and it makes me so sad.
Dude, I have a 3 tight end build. I looked at it. I'm like, oh, okay, this team's kind of sick. You know, I got Dowdle. You know, Hampton's kind of like a sneaky piece. Harvey's been great. Brees Hall, okay, like but kind of low owned. Like wide receivers like Puka, Adams, Labaconki, etc. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling great. Like Puka down there, and I look at the tight end core. Tucker Kraft, Pat Fryermuth, and Terrence Ferguson. I need a Terrence Ferguson breakout just to save this team.
Yeah, facts. Dude, Terrence Ferguson breakout could save a lot of teams for me. Also, chat, in addition to the Dalton Kincaid tracking, I would like you guys to answer a question for me in the chat because you know what? I've been the worst possible manager I can be in the Flock League this year. I would be very comfortably a playoff team if I just made proper decisions. So I'm not even going to rely on myself. Who would you guys start between Kamani Vidal today against the Las Vegas Raiders or Marvin Harrison against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I am currently rolling with Vidal, but I will hear any and all arguments in the chat. So let me know who you would start and why in the chat down below. It looks like Marvin's good to go. He was officially named active. Jalen Warren, DK Metcalf for Drake May, and AJ Brown in a 12-team start 9.
For what it's worth, I would also go with Vidal chat. That's what I said.
Yeah, a lot of people, it looks like Vidal is the popular one. Chris is saying Marvin here. I think my tiebreaker personally for myself is just because that is true. Dylan, no being I think the reason I'm rolling against Harrison is just because I think there's a possibility he could be limited to some degree. It's really the only tiebreaker I have. And without Hampton out there, like,
yo, that's crazy. By the way,
is that what we're calling Harrison at this point?
Yo, real talk. So, I saw Arthur say, Arthur, Michigan got fucking slumped. But the reason why I recognize that is, did you see when Jeremiah Smith ran the sluggo on 4th down, obviously on the touchdown that probably should have been a touchback? Yes, I'm a salty fan. When you don't have possession crossing the goal line and your first possession step is out of bounds, that's a touchback. I don't give a fuck. That's what the rules state. It should have been a touchback. 7 points off the board. That's not why we lost it. Just have to mention it. I saw Jeremiah Smith. It had like the end zone view of him running the route, and people were quote tweeting it like, "That's just Xavier Leggett," and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
I did. That guy rage baits. That guy rage baits. That
Oh,
wasn't a real tweet.
yeah, I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Also, to be fair, I should mention that I am down big in my matchup because Nathan had Jamison Williams and I had Zay Flowers and Lamar Jackson going. So I do actually need ceiling. So Vidal versus Harrison is actually kind of like a I need ceiling thing. And my thought process is Vidal has both the safer floor and the higher ceiling because he's a running back and could have 20 plus touches and score 2 touchdowns.
Also, Arthur, he got possession crossing the goal line. Once he got possession, no body part of his was down in the end zone. The first thing that touched was his foot on the white line. Like, that's touchback.
Yeah. We could both agree pretty easily, by the way, that this is Drake May and AJ Brown.
Yes. When you get the chance, by the way, Corey, did you see the play or have you not yet?
No, I have not seen it.
When you get the chance, watch it and just give me a thought.
Your boy Dimes here, must-win matchup, Vidal and Moore also on waivers. Okay, I mean, yeah, we don't know if he started Dak or not. I actually would have started Herbert, but Prescott had a great game. So, I mean, hopefully you started Prescott. But going into the week, I would have actually said to start Herbert.
I had Dak higher regardless.
I mean, he had Rice going too, and Rice had a monster game. Jacobs didn't have a great game. Ferguson didn't have a great game. So I would say, assuming he started Dak, he's kind of in like a so-so position because Rice and Prescott had big games, but Ferguson and Jacobs did not. Brian Thomas, Sutton versus Shakir. I would roll with Brian Thomas pretty easily here. It's been knowing he's playing today. I have him as a top 24 play at the wide receiver position.
I do too.
Especially, I'm also facing him. If you guys want any confirmation that he's going to go off in my home league, he's probably going to cook me.
Yeah, I have him as the top 24 play as well as wide receiver 24. I'll talk about my pick'ems after, but
I'm at 20 actually.
I saw his projection was at 49.5 yards, so I took the higher on that.
Yeah, dude, Zay Lamar stack was not fun. Watch the Thursday vlog if you guys want confirmation that it was not fun, because I don't think, like, I'm not even being like, over exaggerating here when I say I don't know if I've ever witnessed a more unlucky game flow from a stack of players that I played. Like the fact that Lamar fumbled all those balls and threw a pick and had likely fumble out the back of the end zone. Zay Flowers, the phantom OPI call. Flowers fumbles a catch as well at the end of the game. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a cooler run out than that. Like, that was insanely bad luck that I watched on Thursday night.
Yeah, that was not fun.
I'm somehow still confident that I could come back. Is that crazy?
No, you're not crazy. Now, with that being said, knowing that I had the projection lead on Badaki and then watching fucking Roma Dunze and Loveland combined for 8.6 points was not fun. Specifically with the Dunze, dude, I don't know what it is. Caleb Williams throwing outside the numbers might be the most inaccurate quarterback I've ever watched.
Yeah,
like,
he's giving Trevor a little bit. Like, Trevor's like that too.
Yeah, like, dude, it's a wide open fucking outbreaker for a touchdown, and we're one-hopping it to a Dunze. Get a fucking grip. You were a first overall pick. Guess what? You put number 4 under center, that's going to the back of the end zone every fucking time.
Most of the quarterbacks in his draft class can make that throw no problem. Like, say what you want about Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels and Drake May. Those guys make that throw pretty easily. And also, I think even Penix makes that throw consistently too.
Well, it's a pre-snap throw. Realistically, you're going to see the leverage and you're going to know where to throw it. And Caleb just isn't recognizing it. He's throwing it late and he's fucking one-hopping it. And I'm like, you're way better than that. Obviously, I still believe in him because the traits are there, the outer structure's there, but he needs to clean it up in structure if he's going to reach his upside. Otherwise, it's just going to be Kyler Murray look.
I think one person Bryce Young probably does hit that throw. One thing that I am putting some stock into is a lot of these QB gurus, like the Kurt Warners, the Dan Orlovskis of the world, keep saying just wait until he's year 2 in Ben Johnson's offense. And I want to like factor that into him next year 100%. Because Kurt Warner is like, this offense is extremely complicated for a young quarterback. Like, year 2 in that offense could be like breakout beyond breakouts, like Caleb wins MVP next year kind of thing.
Also, no doubt. Yeah, maybe, but I mean, he got to it and then he one-hopped it. And honestly, just you put Dak in that situation, he's going to see the cornerback leverage and he's going to call an audible. Like, and like I said, he's a young quarterback. He's in a Ben Johnson offense, a lot of complications. Like, I understand. I'm giving him a leash. Like, I still think the outer structure, the ability that he has with his arm, the ability to create, he's a quarterback worth building around. But if he's going to become a top 5, top 8, set it and forget it quarterback option for your franchise, like those are just little intangible things that he needs to pick up on. And it'll happen with experience. I'm not saying that the finished product right now, or what we're getting in year 2 is going to end up being the finished product. It's just something that he's going to need to improve at if he really wants to get there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And to answer this question, I would roll with Cortland Sutton and Kenneth Walker. I think those are the pretty clear flex options there. Shakir versus Sutton is definitely a conversation.
I have Shakir higher.
Do you?
Let me take a look. Actually, they're like back to back now that I think about it. I might actually have Sutton higher.
I actually also have Shakir higher. Shit.
I have Sutton at 29, Shakir at 30.
Okay, I actually have Shakir higher.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm like wondering if that's wrong. I think that's just wrong, to be honest. I think I would start Sutton.
So the reason why I moved Sutton above him, now that I remember, I had Shakir higher, I moved Sutton higher. Shakir, obviously more of a slot receiver. Steelers kind of more struggle against outside guys. On top of that with Sutton, I mentioned with Washington, like they are just a complete.
They're just a dumpster fire. And Pittsburgh plays a lot of man, and Shakir's not really a man-beating receiver also. So like I probably would roll with Sutton.
Yeah, because this has to be the get right spot, man. Washington, worse than EPA per play against the pass, 4th most fantasy points allowed to wide receivers. Touchdown equity on a Broncos offense implied for 25 points. He's kind of been on a cold streak when it's come to touchdowns. Like I understand touchdown upside, he hasn't really been scoring, but at the same time, like they just had their bye week and he's been their number one. Like to me, this is the get right spot of all get right spots.
Yeah.
Like is Franklin going to keep outproducing him is the question. Is Franklin since week 7, is that the most conducive to your offensive upside though? How it's been operating. You think
Franklin's been a better receiver this year, in my opinion.
In the first half of the year it was Sutton, but
he did also mention in his question that Vidal is on waivers. Would you start Vidal over any of these guys? Over Walker?
I would drop Reed for Vidal in a second. And
yeah.
Yes.
I think I would play Vidal over both of these receivers as well. But if you can't for whatever reason, then I would roll with Sutton. But yeah,
I will say this out loud because obviously it's probably going to be a touchy subject. It's going to be a popular subject for a lot of people. Kamani Vidal against the Raiders. Him or Quinshon Judkins, Corey, against the 49ers?
I would rather stay. Judkins is inside my top 15 running backs this week. I'd much rather start Judkins.
So do you have him or Breece Hall higher?
I have him higher than Breece Hall.
Genty, Ashton.
I have him higher than Genty too. Schematically, he has one of the best matchups, period. And also, if you've seen the weather in Cleveland today, the last time we had weather like that in Cleveland, he had like 28 carries against the Dolphins.
I was talking about Vidal.
Sorry. Yeah. I would not. Sorry, I don't have Vidal over Breece Hall. If that's what you're asking me, and I don't have him over Genty. I have Judkins, the highest of that group, though.
Got you. So, with all that being said, Vidal is probably going to settle somewhere between RB20, RB21 is probably where you have them.
Vidal is my RB23 behind Walker, Harvey, Warren, Irving as the 19 through 22.
Yeah, the difference is I have him above. So I have him the head of a tier that involves Walker, Warren, Neal, Marks, and Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, I mean, I have him, the 19 through 27 is my low-end RB2s tier. So I have Vidal at 23, Marks at 24, Neal at 25, Swift locked in at 26, and then Tracy at 27.
Yeah, no, that's valid.
Okay, who should we start in week 13? I hope, Sam's Club, I hope that you started one of the Bears running backs.
I wouldn't have advised it though. That's the thing.
I would have said Warren, but I'm hoping you started Swift.
That's the thing. I would have said Warren as well. Hopefully you started one of those Bears.
And then at wide receiver here, I would not have said Odunze. So hopefully you didn't say you didn't start Odunze. I would have started, I think.
I would have said Jettas and then McMillan over Troy Franklin.
I have McMillan over Jefferson this week.
Same.
Yeah.
But both over Franklin.
And then in the flex, I would go Jefferson over Franklin, like you said.
Yeah.
Looks like London will sit. Appreciate you as always. Yeah, Drake should be back next week if I had to guess. Hopefully, for the love of God, hopefully you started Jameson Williams.
Let's just go about it like he didn't. If that's the case,
I would have said to start Waddle. So
yeah, I would have too.
You didn't know that St. Brown was going to get injured.
And I also would have said to start Michael Wilson above him. So unfortunately, it might have worked out if you did get Jameson Williams because you didn't get this answer beforehand. Yeah, sorry. Ted's fine, Scribbles. It's a tough matchup, but at the
I mean,
same time,
so Emmanuel Forbes, if that's what we're worried about, has like maybe 50 pounds lower than
8
a
inches
weight
shorter,
than Tedero McMillan and 4 or 5 inches of height.
more than 4 or 5 inches. Isn't he like 5'10"?
Either way, I think if that's the matchup that we're worried about, which Forbes has played really well this year, but McMillan can just kind of baby boy him. But yeah, I mean, Bryce Young versus the Rams front could probably not go well. But Bryce actually has a pretty solid offensive line in front of him. I think they'll be better. I think they'll actually be better off than we were last week.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'll give Forbes his love here, his flowers. Like, he's been really good this year, but I mean, we're talking about a 6 foot, 165-pound corner against a 6'5", 225-pound receiver.
Yeah, six.
Like, I know,
7 inches of height that he's missing.
Like, straight up, I know that's just a simple way of saying it. But if the Panthers are going to score in this game, it's going to be one of two players.
Yeah,
it's going to be Tedero McMillan or it's going to be Rico Dowdle. Nobody else is scoring for the Panthers on this defense.
No. They scored 9 points versus the 49ers. Well, that game was in San Francisco. This game is in Carolina.
And Brock Purdy. Bryce Young also threw a fucking pick on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, no, I really, and also for what McMillan scored in that game too, even in he was the only points they scored. I just think they'll be better off at home. Carolina's been much better at home this year than they've been on the road.
It's far more of a pro McMillan thing than anything. Y'all don't use meters, sad. What?
No, we don't. It's weird because we have only been like metric system for since the 80s. Like our parents, like when they say stuff, they use like imperial system where they say feet, inches, yards, blah blah blah. So only like really young people like us, we were the first generation that got taught in school like meters and kilograms and all that kind of stuff. So it's still leached into society in Canada to use feet and inches to describe height.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that's like, I'm 173 centimeters. Like I've never heard anyone say that.
Dude, if somebody said that to my face, I'd call them a geek.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Sorry.
Glad to know that country is going downhill. Now we take some of the good things from you guys and then leave all the trash shit. Deebo Samuel, Michael Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Christian Watson, JMO. Okay, let's pretend he didn't play Watson or JMO because I actually would have said to play JMO here. So that would have been I have him over Michael Wilson.
I wouldn't have. Now, obviously,
I would say Wilson now.
Amazing. Yeah, I just have
assuming
Michael Wilson.
He didn't play him. I would say Wilson.
Yeah, Michael Wilson's wide receiver 17 or 18. I think I had him in my tier list.
Yeah, I didn't have him quite that high. He's just inside my top 24. Because I think Harrison will play, and also Jamel Dean is playing as well. And Jamel Dean in the NFL right now, no cornerback has allowed what is the stat that it is? Oh, lowest passer rating allowed of any cornerback in the NFL, Jamel Dean this season. He's also PFF's #1 graded corner. So him being on the field is a pretty big deal for our defense because now Zion goes to #2, Parrish is in the slot, and we have good cornerback depth. If you guys are wondering, well, they looked like shit against the Rams and all this. Well, we didn't have Jamel Dean in that game. Not having Jamel Dean was a big deal. He actually would have matched up very well against Devontae Adams.
God damn. Mike Evans was available on the wire in our fucking
dude. He also got picked up in my home league today too. I'm like, what? Am I blind? How did I not see Mike Evans available in all these leagues?
Oh, man. Fletch just picked him up.
I know. And he could have been perfect. Good. For my home league team specifically, I'm really mad that I didn't see him because I really need depth.
Respect to you, Flet, but I'm going to need you to not make the playoffs because I don't want to go against Evans in the playoffs knowing that he was available on fucking waivers for a month.
Dude, I need this bye week in the listener league in the worst way possible because I don't have St. Brown for the next 2 games.
Corey, you're going to get it unless I completely scorch earth and you completely plummet.
Well, if I lose this week and next week, you can get ahead of me, can't you?
I mean, what's your projected to score this week? Your projected score?
I had St. Brown drop 0 in my lineup this week, and Brock had Rice and Mahomes.
Yeah, Corey, I'm projected 170. You're at 110 projection right now. If I close that gap, you're not going to be ahead of me in points. And if I win and you lose, and I score 10 or 15 more points than you in week 14, I would take that. I would take that spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. And I'm not going to have St. Brown next week.
Yeah, that's tough. Who do you play?
Bright side is that I play Rob.
See,
his team's not bad, but it's not like I play Arthur or something.
Fair. Rob always finds a way to grit it out though. That's the one thing I will say. Shout out Rob.
But I need to win one of the next 2 games for sure to secure my bye week, because with St. Brown being out, it would be nice to come back in week 16 and St. Brown's already been back for a game or something, and he's healthy and ready to go.
Also, Arthur, I do have to point this out. What is up with your fantasy defense against me? Because I'm projected 170 this week after scoring 128 against Arthur. Like, the guy he puts on the clamps. Offense wins games, defense wins championships.
Brock is my kryptonite, dude. You see, I lost to him and no flocking last week, and Brock is tanking and is now 8-4.
He's tanking at 8-4.
Yeah, and my team was supposed to be like a heavy contender coming into the year, and I've just suffered so many effing injuries. This guy beat me last week with 95 points.
What league?
No flocking. He scored 97 points or something and beat me.
Dude, that's just, like, it's like me and Flock me. I'm like 5-7, and I've been starting Jalen Wright and Ray Davis as my running backs every week, and I'm 5-7.
Flock me silly.
And Flock me silly. I have Ray Davis and fucking Jalen Wright at running back, and I'm winning games.
I actually have started like some half decent running backs this year in that league, even though I'm tanking. Like, I've been like this week I have Devin Neal and Sean Tucker. Like, that's not that bad for a tanking team.
You take that. I mean, some people are starting Devin Neal in their redraft leagues like me.
Yeah. Well, and I also had J.K. Dobbins for a significant part of the year, and I have Trey Benson as well. So it's like, for a tanking dynasty team, like Benson, Dobbins, Tucker, and Devin Neal's not that bad.
Bro, have you seen how competitive Flocked Up is?
My team is a fucking wagon, dude.
My team too, bro. I have the second most points in the league, and I'm 6-6.
Did you see what happened to me this week? I forgot to take Dontavian Wicks out of my starting lineup because I had so many buys last week, and I accidentally left him in, and he had 28 points.
Tell me how you're projected 197 and projected to lose by 30.
Because Tom had the Mahomes, Rice, AJ Brown, and Kelsey stack on me. That's how.
He got 129 from 5 players or 4 players.
Yeah, thankfully Barkley did nothing to help me a little bit.
Yo, he got 130 points from 4 players.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna need a big performance from some of my guys there. I also accidentally benched Josh Jacobs because he was out last week, and thankfully I did because he only had 10 points.
Josh Jacobs for Wicks, and it worked.
Yeah, I literally accidentally left Dontavian Wicks in my lineup for Josh Jacobs, and it worked by a country mile.
Dude, look how competitive it is. Like, from 8th to fucking 3rd, it's a 2-game difference right now. Like,
I have 2,100 points scored in this league, and I might not get a bye.
Dude, I have 2070. So you're 40 points above me, and now my team's getting healthy. Like, I lost to Tom in the semifinal last year, and you won the championship, right?
Yeah. No, I didn't win the championship. I lost in the semifinal as well.
Oh, who won the championship last year?
Tom.
Oh, Cam did. Cam did.
Oh, was it Cam? Okay. You want to hear the other fucked up thing about this league? You know how in week 1, 2, and 3, you play those teams again, week 12, 13, 14? I play Labrum, Tom, and Devo all twice, all playoff teams, all top 5 seeds.
Meanwhile, I got Jared this week. I play Gleason next week. And then last week, I beat up on B-Claw. So I got lucky in terms of my second matchups.
You play Jared this week?
Yeah, I play
Put
Jared.
him in the dirt, bro. I have his first round pick. That's a little scary, though. With this team that I have Jared's 1. It's going to be 105.
Gene, if you don't want to watch, you can get the fuck out of here. If you don't want to watch, you can get the fuck out of here.
Daddy's in angry mode today.
No, I'm fine, but I'm completely exaggerating now. Your language is horrible. If you don't want to fucking hear us, you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, if you guys don't like
fuck
cursing,
off. Fuck off.
Yeah, like, I just don't care. Like, I just don't
fuck
care.
Off.
If like
watch on mute. Watch on mute then. Watch on mute if you really want to watch. Watch on mute. Because I'm not gonna not
also
talk
people who like adult men who don't like cursing.
Don't censor other men.
Body hidden in your freezer in your deep freeze downstairs. Like, it's just a weird thing to be hung up on.
Yeah, don't fucking censor anybody straight up. If you want to watch, go watch Domain. Like Arthur is saying, go watch Domain.
Yeah, Domain is great.
They are fantastic. Wholesome. They are fantastic. They are wholesome. They don't swear. Respectfully, if you're asking me not to swear, there's less things in like that's just not going to happen. I'll put it like that.
For Sam's Club here, BTJ or Trevion Henderson?
Henderson. Oh, day.
I'm a little worried to some degree that Stevenson might take a larger share this week because it's his second back week for back from injury. But I don't know.
Counterpoint, even if that happens, it's against the fucking Giants.
I know.
It's against
I
the
know.
Giants.
It's against the Giants. I'm aware.
At home, 7.5 point favorites at home against the Giants. Like, we saw Jahmyr Gibbs put up 60 fantasy points against that team.
This is a tough question for me. Knicks versus Dart. These are two of my favorite starts this week.
I like Dart here.
I have Knicks higher. So I think at New England is a tougher task than at Washington. That's kind of my tiebreaker. It's just a better team. Dart obviously can get there on the ground, but I think that Knicks is set up pretty well for a big game here.
I don't disagree. Like, they're close. They're both in the same tier. The tier that I have, 9 through 13, was Brissett, Dart, Burrow, Knicks, and then unfortunately Caleb Williams was there. But honestly, I just think the way Jackson Dart's been rushing, like, I don't want to not get him in the lineup.
I totally get that. And also, too, since Milton Williams went down, the Patriots are dead last in rushing success rate allowed.
Dude, I hear me out, Corey. This is just like an off-the-cuff take based off this year. But am I crazy to say that interior defensive linemen haven't been more important than they are right now? Like, given the context of the NFL, obviously, like in NFL history, but more so in the context of like the last 15 or so years. We've always heard, okay, the pass game's evolving, prioritize your edge rushers, prioritize your corners. But we've started to see these last few years that teams that have a physical ground game and can marry their play action off of it have been the best performing offenses in the league. So I do think the ability to stop the run out of your nickel packages is more important than it's been in probably 15 years, like I said. So having like
not to mention the biggest dynasty of the last 5 years, their only real plus defensive lineman is a defensive tackle.
A tier guy that can play across the formation. If you have like two guys that can be completely disruptive, or one guy that's completely disruptive, another strong starter next to him between the tackles, that just impacts what you can do as a defensive play caller. Like, I've seen it this year. The Cowboys getting Quinnen, I'm telling you right now, if we had an even competently healthy secondary, because Ravel, he's been in and out with the injuries. Bland, he's more of a slot corner right now. Obviously,
he also sucks.
No-show. Carson, he was hurt this week as well. Like, get that secondary to even the 20th or 22nd best secondary. The Cowboys' defensive line has been fucking unreal. Like, you could argue it's been the best performing defensive line in the last 3 weeks. Like, they're allowing like 3.1 yards per carry. And everybody on that front is getting 3 or 4 plus pressures a game.
With for us, with Reddick coming back this week and Cansey's working off to the side in practice, right? Even though they said he was going to be shut down for the year, Todd Bowles, they asked him, Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, Kalijah Cansey, are they going to be back this season? He said all 3 of them should be back this season, is what he said.
Yeah.
And McMillan's practice window got activated today. So, I mean, like, pretty huge. Having Evans, McMillan, and Cansey come back for the Bucs, like, if we're healthy at the right time, we are a dangerous 4 seed. Like, we're not like the cupcake that we currently look like.
Hear me out. If we could somehow get another Bucs Cowboys playoff game, like, this would be actually like
it would be fun. Yeah, that would be a fun game. Bucky Irving or Kamani Vidal. I've seen a lot of people ask this exact question.
I gotta go Vidal here.
A lot of people.
I got to go Vidal here. I just feel it's crazy to say Vidal feels like the more certain workload play, but that's where we're at, man. All the quotes we're hearing from Tampa is that it's going to be a split backfield. It could be a hot. Well, I've heard every quote that I've seen is like, Bucky's going to work in, White's going to work in, and Tucker's going to work in. I mean,
what
maybe
they
there's
said
something I'm missing,
was
but
that we're going to give all these guys opportunities and ride the hot hand, and Bucky being the best running back of the 3 of them. That is actually a bullish quote on Bucky, in my opinion.
Fair enough. If that was the exact context, what I read was that all 3 would get worked in. If that was exactly what it was in reference to, I didn't see the whole quote.
Yeah, the quote was that they're all going to get opportunities early and they're going to ride the hot hand. Instead of them saying Bucky's only going to play 40% of the snaps or something like that, them saying it's going to be a hot hand approach, assuming whoever gets hot gets the ball, that to me is positive Bucky news because Bucky is the best running back on the team.
I just think the quote that really left a sour taste in my mouth was a similar workload projection to Godwin last week is what Bull said initially.
They said that early in the week, though, on Monday. On Monday, they said that. And then on Friday, after the full week of practice, Todd said that he's going to get opportunities. It's going to be a hot hand approach. So, again, I actually do have Bucky one spot ahead of Kamani Vidal. Vidal is basically the line for me. Like, if you have Warren, Harvey, Walker, Rico, those type of guys, no way I'm playing those guys, Bucky over those guys. But if you have Vidal, Neal, Marks, Tracy, guys who are more fringe options, I'm willing to roll the dice on Bucky at that point.
Yeah, reasonable. It's a good matchup. I'm moving him up to 24 is where I'm going to end up here.
Yeah, Sharky, he ain't back yet. It sounds like if he's back, it'll be very close to the turn of the playoff, like this regular season to the playoffs. I would say week 16, 17, 18 will be the first opportunities that he has to practice in full.
Yeah.
Can we veto Bush on the Bucks players? Play Vidal. Again, if you want to say I'm being biased or whatever, go nuts and play Vidal. I'm telling you, I've followed the situation closely all week because I'm curious. I actually don't have really any Bucky Irving anywhere. It's not like I'm being bullish on my own fantasy teams either. Like I don't actually have Bucky Irving in many places. Him
coming back from my flock and right team is going to do miracles on me at least, because I am 7-5 in that league. And I'm projected to beat Flett, who's 9-3 right now. So if he can have a decent performance, obviously I got a head start because I had Dak, Pickens, and Lamb. Spoiler alert. Of course, I had Dak, Pickens, and Lamb in this league.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Good.
But yeah, again, if you want to go with Vidal to play it safe, that's cool. I just think that Bucky's ceiling is much higher than Vidal's this week. That would be my only take, because I think that Arizona, like, if you guys want to bet of the day here, you want to bet of the day, 44.5, that game is going over. Bucks,
that might be the
going over, the easiest lock I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, it's actually insane how much of a lock it is. I completely agree. And to be honest, I might have to put more on it. Because I mean, you know me, I've been fucking ripping the lays and they've actually been pretty good. So
yeah.
And every time so obviously I withdraw like when I win a big amount, but like if I win like 150 or $200, I'll just like roll over like bets for the next week. That way I don't have to fucking deposit.
All right, Danny, let's show us your career deposits versus your career withdrawals.
I played the fifth, but
it's an underwaiting to happen. I mean, I hope not, man. That would really screw me over.
Keep in mind too, some of that has gone to the casino on that fucking app, which is
dude. If there's one thing I will warn you
never
on,
play online.
Never ever play online casinos.
You're completely right. You're completely right. One time,
I am completely white. Also,
yo. Please, somebody saw the clip. Mason was like referring. Yeah, no. Mason was like on stream and he was referring to a player being back. He's like, "Yeah, these two, they're black. They're also back, or something like that." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" I sent it in the Discord.
The Landon Dickerson thing that Tom Brady did was also pretty crazy. Hopefully, Mark, hopefully you started Jameson Williams here, but if you did not, I think it's very easy to just pivot to Vidal. And we had all that discussion, by the way, just knowing that he was going to play both of them anyways, Vidal versus Bucky Irving.
Oh my God.
I mean, if he didn't play JMO, if he played JMO, then obviously you would play Bucky, especially knowing that JMO's playing, you could probably stomach some of the upside there. Mr. Filthy Wubs here.
Yo, that's a name and a half.
Flex decision between Chris Rodriguez, Worthy already played. I mean, Genty's got to be the easy answer here. Genty, Rodriguez, Worthy already played. Yeah, you roll with Genty. Doesn't look like he'll have any other decisions. I suppose you could say, Michael Wilson versus Terry McLaurin, but not for me. That's a very easy Michael Wilson.
Why did Sammy drop Darren Waller for Ollie Gordon?
Is there bad news on Achane?
Maybe he's just trying to protect himself, and maybe he dropped Waller knowing that he was going to drop him anyways, and he wanted to do it before the game so that way nobody could pick him up. That would probably be the rationale, I'd assume.
Yeah, maybe.
If he knew he was going to drop him coming into the week because he had he has Kittle, so that makes sense. Probably just meta tactic.
Yeah, I did meta tactic in my home league today where I had I picked up Greg Dortch going into the week because I didn't know if Marvin was going to play, but I was like, am I going to roster Greg Dortch this week when I'm not going to start him? So I just picked up Sean Tucker was dropped late in the week. So I picked up Sean Tucker in case Bucky, for God forbid, re-aggravated his injury.
Yeah, that's sharp.
Anyways, this is the matchup here. EW92. I got to imagine you're not up in your matchup right now, knowing you had Lamar Jackson playing and Isaiah Likely actually didn't have that bad of a game in your flex, but I hope you didn't start Isaiah Likely in this situation because you actually have some better options on your bench.
I would have even started Loveland and that would have been wrong.
Well, okay. So at the time,
it's a flex, right?
Yeah, at the time, you would have, again, I hope you started him in your tight end spot at the very least. At the time, you wouldn't have known Vidal was going to start. At the time, you didn't know if Harrison was going to play.
Is this a dynasty question?
No, it's a redraft question.
Why the fuck are you rostering Gabe Davis?
Yeah, that's got to stop.
What?
But yeah, I would say like in his matchup, he's not in great shape because he would have started David Montgomery and Lamar Jackson. So he's got like 20
Yeah.
fantasy points out of 2 players right now.
So Corey, that's what I was basically why I was saying it, because even if you had likely in the flex, hopefully you didn't, and you didn't know who else to flex, because Vidal we didn't know, Marv we didn't know, etc. At that point, just drop Gabe Davis for a 1 week play. Like go to the My Teams feature, and I'm sure we can find somebody
You
relatively
can on start sets.
right. It was my fault. My fault. I'm sure there's a better option that you could even plug in for like 7 to 9 points for Gabe Davis, even if you were in an emergency.
Yeah. I mean, to answer this question, though, like I would go with Vidal in the flex over likely, assuming you didn't play him. But let's just say for whatever reason you did, I would start Vidal over Tracy in the starting running back spot. And then instead of starting Mechie, I would start Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, you definitely make that adjustment now.
If assuming you played likely, because you also probably need the ceiling if you did play him, because you would have played Lamar, Montgomery, and likely and got like 30 points out of those 3 players.
Where do you have Mechie ranked this week? He was just outside of my top 40 when I did my list.
I have John Mechie at
he's 41 for me.
I have him at 49.
Okay.
I don't have him super high. I think he's playable if you needed somebody, but I wouldn't go crazy playing a Jets wide receiver in a game against the Falcons. That game screams 13-10.
Not wrong. Honestly, it's just the snap share. He looked good.
Target share is nice, but like, yeah. I don't know. I can get snap share and target share in better game environments out of Shamiri DK. Yeah,
no, fair. So the reason why I'm saying that, and let me ask you this, obviously, I'm a little biased. If chat didn't know what played against John Mechie, it's the running bit on the channel. Am I crazy to say that he finally looks like he's reaching what he could have been? Because keep in mind, this was a second
ceiling was like Christian Kirk. So if Christian Kirk is what he looks like now, that's probably fair.
But that's what I mean. It's like, even if it's a Christian Kirk caliber receiver, like Christian Kirk had 1,000 yards, and keep in mind, like this was a 2nd round pick that had leukemia in his rookie season, and then his following season going into year 2 basically lost. Pardon?
Didn't he blow his knee out one year?
Leukemia.
He blew his ACL out his final year at Alabama, didn't he?
Yeah. But I'm
that's
saying
what it was. Yeah.
So he blew his ACL at Alabama, and then going into his rookie season, it looked like he was going to recover, and then he had leukemia, so he missed his entire rookie season with leukemia. He came back, and that just coincided with Tank Dell and with Stephon Diggs. Obviously, Stephon Diggs blows his ACL.
Blew his knee out as well.
We know what happened with Tank Dell. That didn't really work out. And then on top of that, Houston goes out there now, and they have Jaden Higgins, they have Jalen Noel. They signed.
He's also on Philly for a brief period of time, Mechie.
Yeah, like he got traded last year then, so he wouldn't have coincided with Noel and Higgins. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this is a young, talented player that missed his entire rookie season, didn't have the opportunity when he actually came back, and he's just kind of been team hopping since then. Maybe this Jet situation without, an established number 1 option, or for that matter, an established depth chart, was just what he needed to have, because Garrett Wilson being out of the lineup has really gotten these young guys like him and like Adonai Mitchell to really perform. So, or at least the opportunity to perform. So this is long-winded to say that I'm empathetic with a 2nd round pick that never really got an opportunity is finally getting it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It looks like Josh is going to be down in his matchup because he would have had St. Brown going. So I'd say Egbuka and Judkins got to be like I don't know if he started Odunze. He mentioned Egbuka and Odunze struggles concern me. Flex ideas. Hopefully you didn't start Odunze, because I actually would have said to start Egbuka and Judkins over Odunze even at the time. But I would have as well. For whatever reason you started Odunze and you could only play one, I would play Emeka, because I think his ceiling is higher in PPR than Judkins is this week.
Yeah, I agree.
Bryson here has a question. Dynasty 2 quarterback, and it looks like his flex is between Kenneth Gainwell. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he played Kyle Monangai. That would have been obviously a great play if you did, but let's just go like he didn't. Jacoby Myers, Shamir DK, Keenan Allen. Not a whole lot really to work with. I think Gainwell's your best option, man. I have Gainwell as a top 28 running back, even though I have Warren at RB 21. Like, I think that both, like, the Bills are ass against the run, man. Like, I think that both Gainwell and Warren can have good games.
Yeah. I mean, what are the receivers?
His best options would have been Monangai, Chris Rodriguez, Jacoby Myers.
Maybe there's a tight end.
Jamira DK, nothing. There's nothing there.
Keenan
Allen.
Yeah, I can back a Gainwell in the flex.
I think Gainwell's your best option there, honestly.
Yeah, I can back that.
King Drewski, shout out. Kenneth Walker, Brees Hall, Charbonnet, Stevenson, Smitty. I mean, I would have said Smith at the time. I definitely would have said Smith. Let's say you didn't play Smith, though.
Brees.
Yeah, you're going to go with Brees over Walker? They're close for me this week.
They're like 20 and 21 for me, but I do have Brees one spot higher.
Yeah, I think given the matchup against the Falcons, their run funnel, Tyrod threw him the ball quite a bit last week. I think he's a little bit safer. But Walker, 3 receptions in 2 straight games, and the workload's been increasing. So, and I actually think like my stat of the game, like when you have a good matchup for Walker, Sam Darnold revenge game, JSN facing the 90th rated cornerback in the NFL, and it's at home for Minnesota against Max Brosmer. Tell me why the Seahawks don't possess the ball 75% of that game.
Yeah, they very well could. You want to know what my counter is?
What?
Steelers juju is how they don't. Because when I go on, anywhere to bet, DK, FanDuel, like in terms of money lines, when I go and I see the Bills only at -170, the first thing in the back of my mind is, that looks like the best line you'll ever see. But
I'm talking about the Steelers Vikings, just FYI.
What?
Steelers Vikings was the game that I was talking about.
Steelers play the Bills this week.
No. Oh, sorry, not Steelers. Did I say Steelers? I meant Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think confused I said the Seahawks, fuck. But I guess I didn't say it.
Sorry, you confused the fuck out of me when you said Steelers.
If I said Steelers, that's my bad. I meant Seahawks. I'm saying, tell me why the Seahawks don't possess the ball for 75% of that game, because Max Brosmer is starting and they have great matchups all over the field.
When you Steelers Seahawks, maybe I misheard you. Yeah, that's how it should work. Sorry, Max Brosmer, he's not good. The issue is JJ McCarthy also wasn't good. So maybe with a different quarterback, we start to see something that maybe, this defense didn't have the film on him. They didn't know what his overwhelmed tendencies were, this and that. Like, yeah, sorry. That threw me off, my bad.
Yeah, and honestly, if
that might have been part of it too.
And shotgun, that's actually probably bullish for Gainwell because Gainwell's the pass catching back.
Yeah, because I think that's what happened. We were talking about Gainwell, and then I heard the word Steelers, and then that's exactly where my mind went. So my apologies there.
Fair enough.
Let me ask you that though. Like when you see Bills -170, don't you just think something's fishy here?
I don't like home dog. I don't like.
It's always fishy.
It's home dog's a trap every time, man. I wouldn't mess with Pittsburgh today. I think that. Yeah, especially with the way Josh looked against the Texans, and like I don't really like. Maybe it's the lock of the century and they win by 15 points or something like that, but it just sketches me out a little bit.
Their run defenses suck too, like you said. It's funny because the only thing they're good at is stopping number 1 wide receivers. By the way, take the DK Metcalf lower than 49.5 receiving yards. He literally hasn't fucking done it in 6 games. But anyways, the only thing that they're good at is guarding number 1 receivers because Christian Benford has been a baller. Outside of that, running backs can have their fucking way. And we've seen that multiple times on this team. The question I have for you, man, like, what's the ceiling for this Bills team in the playoffs? Like, obviously, when you have Josh Allen, you have an evident ceiling. Because
when the AFC is the way the AFC is, the ceiling is that they are the representative in the Super Bowl because they have Josh Allen. But I don't see a clear team in the AFC that I'm actually scared of. So,
and I saw Jacob Sanderson tweet this, and I completely agree. My toxic trade is quite literally thinking that the Chiefs are going to run the table and win the conference.
That's horrendous.
It's a toxic trait, but I mean, like, dude, if they made the playoffs, who are you picking against them?
I saw whatchamacallit, was it I think Hayden and Josh were talking about this, where they said like the Chiefs on paper EPA per play wise are just like so much better than they were last year, and if they play against like the Colts, even in Indianapolis, if they play against the whoever, even in the opposing building, I would still take the Chiefs. And I'm like, I can't be too mad about that because it's the playoffs and they're great in the playoffs and stuff. But I do think this is the year we see a little bit different of an AFC championship than we're used to seeing. Maybe we see a Colts, you want
to hear my hot take?
6 seed AFC championship.
So when do you ever just go on playoff predictors after a week and then just kind of like try to predict out what you think is going to happen going forward? Like that's something I always do. Yeah. And when I do it, you know what AFC championship I end up with the most?
No, who do you end up with?
Chiefs Texans.
Chiefs Texans? Ugh.
Let me make the case for the Texans real quick. They are arguably the best defense in the league.
The
I
number
think we
one
can
in
say
EPA.
that.
So
EPA against the pass, the run defense been a lot better. Now you have an identity on offense with the passing game. The way Nico's been playing, Jaden
and
Higgins
Stroud
potentially,
plays like Stroud too.
and Stroud going. Like, keep in mind the 4-game stretch of Stroud before he got hurt was over 35 attempts per game. He was keeping good care of the football. He's throwing for like 245 yards per game. Like, I'm looking at the Texans, and we say this every year. We want to pick against them in the playoffs because, like, for example, last year, Stroud had a down year. The Chargers, they were the hot team, and then the Texans put belt to fucking ass in the first round.
Yeah.
I just think that the Houston Texans, like, they're going to get their momentum come playoff time, and they're going to be the team that nobody wants to fucking play.
Since their bye, this is the Jenga piece for Houston. Their offensive line has been so much better since their bye. So much better. And half of those games were not with CJ Stroud. But if CJ gets the protection that Mills has been getting while he's been out, then I can see it. They still are not a very good running team. They still don't really have a lot of, like, I mean, if Higgins and Nolan, those guys start to emerge, then maybe they'd have some ancillary weapons. I just think offensively they'd get overmatched in the playoffs unless we see like unless we're like, this is truly like one of the best defenses we've seen in a while.
Yeah. And the other take that I had based off what I saw on Friday, and this might be the low hanging fruit, the comp for the Bears this year is quite literally the 2021 49ers. We'll just see if the mistake prone play that we've seen from Caleb a la Jimmy Garoppolo is able to win them a couple playoff games because the run game is there. The defense is going to be a lot better by then. And I mean, when you got a coaching schematic or when you have a schemer, coaching schematic, what the fuck am I saying? When you have a schemer like Ben Johnson, yeah, those are a couple of my takes. I think the Texans are probably the most underrated team in the league right now. And I think the Bears are going to be a team that nobody wants to fucking play in the playoffs.
So you're going to be playoff best ball stacking Texans?
I will actually. I put a sneaky little $10 that they win the AFC wins 200.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Sprinkled it in. I just think they're a very underrated team, and because they're not sexy, people are going to pick against them.
Yeah. I mean, every year there's a bracket buster as far as like the AFC. And like every year too, you kind of need to take a stance. Is this the conference I'm getting queued in? Is it going to be the NFC or the AFC? And I think the conference to get queued in is the AFC for sure this year because last
build
year
around
like,
Rams and then,
like there was so like I think that the Eagles and Rams and actually honestly just the Eagles and Rams. I think it'd be hard. I'd be hard pressed to see a different NFC Super Bowl team.
I don't think the Eagles make it. I
just think that they're so battle tested and they can beat you in so many different ways. And their defense is probably the best in the conference.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to play a full team. Realistically, at this point, given how they've been playing, I'm hard pressed to say they're playing like one of the top 3 or 4 NFC teams right now.
Maybe, but like I think the parity in the AFC is like literally 1 through 7 seed. Any of them can make the AFC championship. Like you can see the Broncos do it, the Colts do it, the Chiefs do it, whatever AFC North team wins, like Ravens, Bengals, whoever, they could do it. Bills could do it, of course. Like it's not like, oh, this is the Bills and Chiefs and Ravens and nobody else. Like last year was like, it's the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, nobody else. Like that's how I felt about the AFC last year.
Another one of my toxic traits is when we do take our Buffalo trip and maybe it's are we planning at week 16 or are we going to do it right after the year?
I think it's probably better to do it after the fantasy championship.
Okay.
Like during the week of week 18 would probably make sense.
So I was going to say my toxic trait is before the Cowboys even clinch, if they're in a strong position to potentially run the table and make it at that point, they're going to be cheap and I'm going to be taking them like
I'm going to do it. If Tampa gets healthy, I'll do the same thing probably. Like
in all seriousness, like, get me off the ledge here. Like, why? What's something that I've seen that should keep me fucking level-headed?
If you wanted to argue that you guys are a tier 2 NFC team, I could see it. I think there's
only tier 1's the Rams.
I could say there's a large group of tier 2 NFC teams, but I'd say this year more than ever, both conferences are semi wide open, at least for NFC championship appearance type of performances. Because last year, if you built teams around Washington or whatever, like that would have been extremely rare. Like there was teams that I went up against in the gauntlet and whatnot that had Washington stacks, and I was scared shitless of them because I'm like, if these guys who have onslaughts of the Washington Commanders' best players get through, like they're going to be fucking difficult to deal with. Because like when you have a team in the AFC and NFC championship that has like Mecole Hardman or whatever as like the 3rd best receiver because you had to stack Chiefs to get it there. And then you're going up against McLaurin and, Brian Robinson, Jaden Daniels on the other side. It's like, it's fantasy points. They score more fantasy points.
Realistically, Corey, you mentioned tier 2. I think there's only one tier 1 team in the NFC, and that's the Rams.
Yeah.
Everybody else is fair game at tier 2.
I think there's only one tier 1 team in the NFL.
Jared, I'm not hearing this because if not for a clock operator leaving the longest second I've ever seen in my life, you guys would have lost to the worst defense in the league. Don't say you would have beat Philadelphia and Dallas. You guys would not have beat us. We outplayed you all game. Our defense had no fucking hope at that point. If we played you right now, you wouldn't be saying that. That's all I'm going to say. You guys had a chance to beat the worst iteration of the Cowboys, and you fucking allowed 40 points to us in a 40-40 tie. I'm not going to hear that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Sorry. I see if LaFleur had balls, we'd beat Philadelphia and Dallas. You would not have. You would not have. You scored 40 points. What do you mean if he had better play calls? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, everyone can do the what if thing, with their own team too.
Respectfully, Jared, I know you're a big fan. I get that. If you objectively think right now the Cowboys are playing worse football than the Packers, I got a bridge to fucking sell you.
All right, let's keep going here.
Sorry,
I had to say Pat and Kai for potential 2027 talent. Kyron Williams and Pat Mahomes for 2 1s and Nico Collins. So, I think this is too. Even if they're okay, it says early to mid. I'm assuming Mitty did put these in correctly, and they are projected early to mid. I just think this seems a little bit mystery boxy. Like, you got Patrick Mahomes on the other side of this deal, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you're retooling, I think this is probably fair.
I would want at least a couple of twos or maybe a late 1 and 28 or something like that on top of this deal. I think Mahomes needs to go for at minimum 2 early to mid projected ones and a late projected one.
So let me say this. I don't mind the deal overall. The issue is the concept of it is you're not necessarily getting younger. Like Nico Collins is 27 years old. Or 26, sorry, 1999, my apologies. 26 years old. So then at this point, it's like, if you're going to do this and you're getting a young receiver back, I would understand. Okay, you're trying to retool, get a little bit younger, that's fine. Nico Collins is in his prime. So it's not like you're accomplishing that.
Yeah.
I frankly disagree, Jared. He played for the tie against Dallas. Don't even give me that nonsense. Dude, you guys were one of the longest seconds I've ever seen away from losing to us at home with the worst defense in NFL history at that point. I'm not going to hear it, Jared.
Okay. Cowboys and Packers stuff aside. Let's keep going here.
I will say this, Arthur, Broncos put belt ass. And anytime we play the Broncos, we lose to the Broncos. It's happened literally every year since I've been alive and watched this team. We don't beat the Broncos.
Let's keep going. Rage bait aside. Kamani Vidal, Woody Marks. This is Kamani for me. I have Marks below him this week. Do you have Marks ahead of Vidal?
I have Vidal ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm rolling with as well.
You got to go with the game environment too. They're probably going to be, ahead in that game.
He's hella behind as well in his matchup by the looks of it too. He's St. Brown, Loveland, and Dobbs. Like, you're hella behind in your matchup.
I
would have definitely played Marks over Dobbs though.
Yeah, I would have too.
Unfortunately, it looks like you didn't, but I definitely, if you asked this question on Thursday or whatever, I would have definitely played Marks over Vidal.
Did you see how I lost the freaking pick, by the way, for Dobbs? He scored 10 half PPR points on a 4-catch for 20-yard and a touchdown day.
That's unfortunate.
And I had him at lower than 9.5.
That's unfortunate. Gadsden versus Jawan. I mean, I'm starting Gadsden over Jawan. I like Jawan this week, but I would definitely start Gadsden over
different
him.
Here.
Gainwell, Judkins, or Vidal off of waivers. You got to play Judkins here. You can't play. I love the matchup for Gainwell, and I think he's a great flex play. But Judkins, he's just a different tier for me, especially in the matchup in the cold weather game environment there. Gadsden or Jawan matchup. Yeah, I guess Jawan has the better matchup, but I'm still starting Gadsden. Texans, Jags, or Rams this week on defense. So Texans are going up against the Colts. I believe Houston's at home for that game, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Jaguars are facing the Titans, and then the Rams get the Panthers on the road. I think of those defensive options, I think I have the Rams ranked the highest. Let me just double check.
For the defenses?
Yeah.
You probably got to go Rams against Carolina.
Yeah, let me look really quick.
You got to go Rams here.
Yeah, I have Rams the highest of that group, but I do have the Jaguars pretty closely behind them against Tennessee, but I would definitely prefer the Rams. They just have more playmakers on their defense.
What are your thoughts on the Colts right now? Because I think the Texans plus 3.5 is probably my favorite line.
The Sharps are hammering Texans plus 3.5, hammering it.
How are the Colts favored? Daniel Jones, we literally saw him limping in a video this week
I think
against
that
the number one defense.
JT is gonna, if JT can't run the ball, they're fucked in this game. Like if they shut JT down, they win the game easily.
Dude, the
Like they
Texans
might win by 15 points if JT doesn't have a game.
Corey, the Texans sacked Josh Allen last week 8 times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to carry that over every single game, but
I get that, but
EJ can't really move right now, and JT, if he is shut down, the game is a wrap. Like it's over. They can't win. Maybe I'll be shocked and DJ will just sling 4 tugs out there. That'd be good for my best ball bags. I just don't see it coming.
Also, Corey, so I just see a comment. That's why I want to bring it up. I see a comment on my wide receiver tier list that somebody called me out for quote unquote overreacting to Puka and Devontae, which, by the way, A, I had Puka over Devontae on my tier list. B, they are both top 6 wide receivers in my rankings this week. And
As
C,
they should be with no JC Horn out there.
And C, all I did was point out the fact that Puka hasn't run like the full route share. That's all I said.
Yeah.
I said, realistically, Devontae Adams has gotten better uses than Puka Nacua. I'm still going to have Puka one spot higher because we know what he's capable of, and maybe we see his snaps ramped up. That's all I said, but apparently I'm hating on Puka.
This is going to be
while I have his jersey in the back, by the way.
Yeah, this is going to be a sketchy day for me with Puka because I both need him so badly in my home league and also can't have him kill me against Nathan in the flock league. So it's one of those games where, I've gone this entire season, Danny, without going 2-0 in both leagues this entire year. I've gone 1-1 or 0-2 1 or 2 times in every single week this season. I have never gone 2-0 in the flock league and my home league once this year. It's
valid.
Brutal.
Also, this is pretty simple. If you are in a winning position, you take the London and Amon St. Brown every single time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little risky because you're buying into injuries.
What's your record?
These are injuries that could re-aggravate themselves and that kind of thing. But yeah, if you're in a winning position, this is really, really enticing.
Well, because the thing with Amonra, it's a low ankle sprain. We're expecting that Drake London's going to be back next week. So yeah, sure. What you're going to have, I mean, on top of this week, because obviously you're not going to be able to play an Adams or a McConkey. If you can stomach these next 2 weeks being at a disadvantage, I do think by week 15, when the playoffs are actually on the line, you're going to be able to get players back. Amon St. Brown is as tough as it can get. It got ruled a low ankle sprain. I think he's going to miss Dallas, but I wouldn't be shocked if he was back the following week.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't shock me if he only missed one game too. I'm hoping for my sake that he's back in week 16 fully healthy as opposed to hobbled in week 15, because if I get the bye in the listener league, then I will be fine without him in week 15 because I will be on bye.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
But anyways, yeah, we can move on to the next question here. Every major outlet, including other lower tiered fantasy sites, you guys are number one, even though I want to argue with you, said Matt played for
That's
the
always
tie.
Respectful. Sure, maybe he did, but at the same time, you scored 40 points against the Cowboys
and you didn't win.
When we didn't have half of our current defense. Like, to me, like on top of that, the same Philadelphia defense that we just scored 24 unanswered points on, you lost 10-7 to at home. As bad as the Eagles have been, they beat you guys on your own home turf. Like, to me, acting like me saying that the Cowboys are currently in better form than the Packers, like the last 3 games since the bye week, the Cowboys have been arguably a top 3 to 5 team in the league. Will it continue? Who knows? Will we even make the playoffs? Who knows? But when you beat the last 2 Super Bowl fucking champions, and the Raiders, what the fuck else? Like, who the fuck cares about that? When you build a 3-game win streak coming off of a 3-5-1 record where everybody was saying that it was a lost year and you shouldn't have given up your first round pick, like, we got to acknowledge that a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, and I don't even think I'm being biased to say that the Cowboys are playing like a top 3 to 5 team right now. Like, will it continue? I don't know.
Maybe a little strong. They're definitely playing like a playoff team for sure. Baker Mayfield, Jackson Dart, Jacoby Brissett. I have Brissett the highest of this group, but with Dean playing, I'd be okay going Dart.
I think you got to go with the passing volume of Brissett. I mentioned I don't want to sit Dart for many people. Brissett's going to be one of them because he's literally averaging over 40 attempts and 300 passing yards a game.
Yeah, and we haven't seen him really much with Harrison out there doing that too.
And dude, realistically, what's Bam Knight going to rush for? 9 carries for 14 yards against you guys?
Probably not much. Yeah, I hope that's what he rushes for because I'm playing against him in the flock league.
Wait, Nathan's starting him?
Yeah, he was going to start Benson, and then Benson got ruled out.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. Brissett versus Dart. That's a close one. It's do you want pass volume or do you want rushing floor? That's basically what you're deciding between, because the matchup for
good question.
Dart at New England is a little bit sketchier than maybe it seems on paper for what Dart has looked like. Like, would it shock you if going at New England on Monday Night Football, Dart doesn't have a good game? Like, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't shock you. Wouldn't shock me either.
Guess you're going Tyler Algier because that's your only option. And Romeo Dobbs and all these guys. Flex Terry McLaurin or Cade Otton? That's maybe an interesting question. Would you flex McLaurin or Cade?
McLaurin or Cade?
I think McLaurin's going to be fine, most likely routes wise. Like, I don't think I worry about him being limited overly. It's just like Marcus Mariota. Do you trust the offense and that kind of thing?
Yeah. I think you got to go Terry McLaurin because I also don't think Cade's a sure thing either.
No, I mean, he's kind of just a whatever option.
A decent one. Also, I did not, unfortunately, Dylan, and I just appreciate it. We'll talk about Warren, okay? Because the report comes out that he's been sick, but he's planning to play. Where are you adjusting him in your ranking, showing maybe that he's not feeling the best today?
He goes to whenever something like that comes up, when there's like a report, oh, he's sick, he's going to be this, blah, blah, blah. He was in the A tier of my tight end weekly rankings at tight end 4. He is now in the A tier of my tight end rankings at tight end 7 or 6. Because I can't move him below Ferguson, who already played.
Quite literally the same thing for me.
So, like, the only real change that happened was I moved Gadsden ahead of him. That was the only change that happened, realistically.
Go Gadsden.
Yeah, if you want to go Gadsden over Warren, that would be the only thing I would do differently of the players who have already played, because Kelsey already played and Ferguson already played, who were in that tier.
So I'm assuming this is off the back of Monungai, great game, Woody Marks, current workload. You're buying low on Judkins. This is the Judkins cost. I'm perfectly comfortable giving this up for Judkins. I will say, though,
I mean, he said he's not making playoffs. I mean, what's the point of making this trade if you're not making playoffs? I guess maybe get better option in the toilet bowl. Like, I don't know. Quinshon, he's a better option for you as a starter. So if you're trying to get out of the toilet bowl, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. And I see Sarge. I mean, in the Flock League, our trade deadline's actually this week.
On Sleeper, the latest you can make your trade deadline is week 13. So if you haven't had your trade deadline already, there's a good chance that it will be after this week.
Correct.
Bo Nix versus Trevor Lawrence, very easily Bo Nix for me. I love him this week. James Cook is always in your lineup, as good as Devin Neal might be as an option. Egbuka, despite his struggles, is my highest rated receiver there. At tight end, Hunter Henry versus Dalton Schultz is kind of interesting, but I do think Hunter Henry against the Giants is just way too enticing, especially coming off of a 100-yard game against the Bengals the week before. And then this is the real question for me in this question here. Is it Devin Neal? Is it Michael Wilson? Or is it Quentin Johnston? Or maybe Shakira as well would factor in for you. I personally think it's between Devin Neal and Michael Wilson. As much as I really like QJ this week, I think that those two options are just slightly better.
You want to hear my most unbiased take ever?
What?
Go Michael Wilson.
How is that unbiased?
Who am I starting in the Flock League?
Devin Neal. Correct. There you go. But yeah, I would go Michael Wilson there. I have Michael Wilson in the listener league. So got him for very much nothing. Pretty much nothing.
You cook there, man. Honestly, like I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't
needed
have
a second flex in the worst way possible too. And I just found like an elite one on the wire.
Yeah, man. Like maybe I should. I honestly think if I didn't offer all my fab in that deal to Mountain Man Mike, I could have just done it without all my fab. Probably would have asked for like 30 or 40 bucks, but because I just said, yeah, here, take all my fab. Like he just said, sure. I haven't had fab in that league in fucking months. Also, I need to cut Brashard Smith because Mr. Waller is active. Ooh, I might actually have a start-sit decision in the listener redraft league.
Why?
Gunnar Helm versus Darren Waller.
I'd probably play the upside that Waller scored 2 touchdowns in a game where he ran 28% of the snaps this first game with the Dolphins. I think they have plays designed for him in the red zone. That'd be my tiebreaker, I think.
Yeah, knowing that I'm projected to win by 80 points right now and have a 97% win equity, literally just taking the option that can maximize my point output to try to make up our tiebreaker is probably my best interest.
Yeah. In my home league, dude, I told you the scenario, but I have to win this week. Like I have to. Because if I don't win, I have a very difficult matchup next week with no T-Mac and no Tyrone Tracy. And I would have to win next week to secure my playoff spot. And my opponents are playing the 2 worst teams in the league next week.
Oof.
And Or actually, wait. I think one of them is playing Lucas, who is in first, but he doesn't have McCaffrey or Terry McLaurin.
Oof.
So, yeah, one of them
Shout out
plays
the
Lucas.
Cowboys.
So he plays Lucas with no McCaffrey and Terry McLaurin. So he has to start Kyle Menengai and Charbonnet as his top 2 running backs. I mean, maybe I would be okay even if I lost out and I would still make the playoffs. But if I get a win against this guy this week, I'm in. I'm in, and I could actually still get a bye too if I win this week and next week.
Yeah, I mean, literally keep in mind if you add those 2 to the trade, like obviously I love Lamb, but I gave up fucking like Drake London in that deal, and I gave up the fab that got you those guys. So fucking you took me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Took me to the shed.
Do you have any good fab hauls this year? Players that you picked up?
I mean, like Rico's got to be the biggest one, and it's funny. I drafted him in my home league, dropped him, and then picked him back up for a couple bucks, and he's been a steady lineup option for me every week. It's crazy because after Thursday,
Fab to drop him in week 3 in my home league, so that's fun.
Not fun.
I picked up Tracy at least, and Tracy's a starter now.
So I'm projected right now 67-33 underdog because unfortunately after Thursday I was feeling great. I had Joe Burrow, George Pickens. Those guys went off, and he had Jahmyr Gibbs and Xavier Worthy Xavier Worthy, Jahmyr Gibbs, and AJ Brown, and Jake Ferguson kind of produced duds. The issue is then once we got to Friday, I had Barkley and Roma Dunze, and he had AJ Brown. So I'm projected to lose right now. Rob's got a solid team, but at the same time, hopefully Rico Dowdle can keep paying off in that league because I'm looking at it on paper, and once Drake London's back, I feel very good. So without seeing the context, you guys might be confused.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think my biggest fab hits have been I got Tracy in both the Flock League and my home league. Unfortunately, in my home league, I dropped Rico Dowdle to do it. And I also picked up, I spent my last dimes of fab in the Flock League on Kamani Vidal when I needed a running back in the worst way possible because I was starting Pacheco for a couple of weeks, and Vidal gave me a bunch of usable weeks. So I'd say that was a pretty good call.
Well, if you want Pacheco back, you can pick him up off waivers.
Yeah, I'm good. It does suck that I traded Tracy for Kamara, though, and Kamara's fucking hurt now.
Yeah, no, that's not ideal.
But anyways, Jalen Warren, David Montgomery, Devin Neal, all these guys. Oh, Rico's in this question as well. Smitty's in this question. Okay. If you didn't start Devontae Smith, which I believe would have been who I would have said to start in this question, you going Dowdle over Jalen Warren would be the decision for me? Yes,
very comfortably.
Yeah, I'm not going it comfortably. I actually have Dowdle at RB 18 this week because I really don't like the matchup. But he's just at the back of the tier of high end RB2s, basically.
Yeah, makes sense. With that being said, I mean, the workload was weird last week, but I'm sure that the Panthers have gotten a lot of hell for that too. So
yeah, he's also been kind of a good matchup merchant though. Rico, it's something to monitor. When he has bad matchups, he doesn't usually perform well. Sorry. Hall, Walker, or Harvey, pick 2. So these guys are, I'm pretty sure they're literally consecutively ranked for me, if I'm not mistaken. I have Hall at 17, Walker at 19, and Harvey at 20. So I would sit Harvey of this group.
Harvey's the highest for me. I have it Harvey, Hall, Walker.
Okay. So are we sitting Walker by default then? I just don't want to sit Walker in this game environment, dude. This time of possession battle is about to be insane.
If I have Harvey 1 and you have Walker 1, then we sit Brees.
I don't have Walker 1 though. I have Walker 2.
Oh. Well,
I have Brees 1 here.
Then it sounds like
we're sitting. Well, okay, where are they in your rankings?
They are all like 19 through 21. I'm not even joking you.
I have Brees 17, so he's going to be safe.
Okay.
And then Walker's at 19, Harvey's at 20 for me.
I have Harvey at 17, Hall at 19, and Walker 21.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we're sitting Walker here technically, but yeah.
I mean, I like him, but it's just
I would go the 2022 101 and 102 or whatever most people took Walker in that year. I'd roll with Hall and Walker personally.
Shout out the boys.
We address it when we can. We unfortunately are not able to.
Unfortunately, Goonishness. We can. Unfortunately, when we were doing our start sets on Thursday, the site in terms of the comments were down, so we're also a little bit behind the 8 ball there. So we're just catching up. A good thing we're an hour now, so we will be getting to all of them. But Unfortunately, on a day like this where they're kind of backed up, it's going to be harder for us to get to YouTube chat. Usually when it's just the Sunday questions or Saturday questions we have to deal with, we're able to get through the paid chats a little bit faster.
Yeah, and YouTube chat comments, like Mondays are your day for that. We have way less questions on Mondays. Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence. I would probably go Lawrence here, dude. I don't trust Daniel Jones with the injury against the Houston Texans defense, man. I'd go Lawrence against Tennessee all day.
Lawrence against Tennessee. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to adjust that in my
Jones
rankings. I got to move Daniel Jones down. I almost call them Daniel Jones.
Facts.
Let me see. So I had Jones higher,
I
but
have
obviously
Tua Tagovailoa ranked over Daniel Jones, dude. Like I am not starting Daniel Jones against Houston.
I moved Daniel Jones down to quarterback 19.
Yeah, I have Tua and CJ Stroud ahead of him. He's quarterback 21, and I have Purdy quarterback 22 because I don't want anything to do with the weather in Cleveland right now.
Yeah, valid.
Daniel Jones, Brian Thomas, Cortland Sutton, Woody Marks, Quentin Johnson, RJ Harvey, and Trevion Henderson. I think I'd go Henderson of these options, but BTJ and RJ Harvey would be my next two there. And then in the flex between BTJ and Harvey, do you have a lean there between those two guys?
BTJ and Harvey.
I'm assuming those are your highest two rated. They are for me.
What are
I think I'd go Harvey, man. I just like the Commanders are just not a good defense at all.
I gotta go Harvey, but I do actually like BTJ to have a little bounce back this week.
Yeah, and like I said, I play BTJ this week, so he's probably gonna have a game.
Yep,
makes sense. My home league, unfortunately. Okay, CNAP here, and if anybody does want to get a question in before the buzzer in the chat right now, you should be able to see the get your question answered prompt. I will throw it into the chat one more time. If you guys do have a very, very pressing question to get answered, I will throw it in there and you can get it in the next 10 minutes before the kickoffs happen here.
Shout out Nick, by the way. This is his question.
Shout out.
Okay, so it looks like he's considering T-Mac or Diggs. I would personally go T-Mac there.
I would as well. I do like Diggs this week, though. He's probably going to end up
getting Dowdle.
I would put him over a Dowdle.
No, thanks.
I would. Against the Rams, dude, they are nails against the run. I would play Diggs over Dowdle any day of the week. Against the Giants.
I get that, but Diggs played 54% of the routes last week.
Yeah.
Against Cincy.
He also scored a touchdown in like 6 straight games before that.
Oh, no doubt. He had double-digit points in like a 5-game stretch. Like, he's been good. But to me, I'm looking at it. Dowdle, he's been so good this year.
I know. If you want to just be like, hey, squeaky wheel, they're going to give him all the carries and whatnot. I just worry that he's a straight up touchdown or bust because he has to score. Otherwise, he's going to be inefficient.
Yeah, no, that's valid.
I'll capitulate on Dowdle, though. You go with the touches and the running back flex spots. I think that's fair.
It's close enough to the point where, I'm cool with that.
Oh, it's going to make me log out and log back in. Give me a second. But yeah, dude, this is an exciting week for a lot of you guys, I'm sure. Like, I am on edge this week because of the Flock League. I'm trying to stay alive. Just so, did I tell you, Danny, I could actually still make the playoffs even if I lose this week?
Really?
Yeah. Even if I lose this week, Thomas is losing currently to Sammy. And if Thomas loses next week, which he plays the Devs without Amon-Ra and no Rico Dowdle because he's on bye, Thomas is probably going to lose next week too, which would put him down to a 7-7 record. And if I beat Sal next week, who has no Christian McCaffrey or Tyrone Tracy or Brock Purdy, then I could still beat Thomas if I have 9 more points for than him this week and next week combined. So he currently has 9 more points for than me right now. But if over the next 2 weeks I outscore him by 9 or more points, then I could still get into the playoffs, even if Nathan beats me this week, which is probably going to happen because of what Lamar and Flowers. I don't know what to call it other than just straight up diarrheaing in my lineup. That was the shittiest performance I've ever witnessed from 2 of my fantasy players in my life. So, yeah, Drake May versus Lamar in redraft, no question. You got to go Drake May right now, no question. As much as I love Lamar and want him to be better than he's been, he is not playing well. And I guess if you were in my position, Danny, next week is a 1 week must win game for me in the Flock League. Would you not start Lamar?
Would you not start Lamar?
Yeah, like would you go pick up, in our Flock League, there's like Jordan Love and Caleb Williams and those type of guys on the wire all the time. Would you sit Lamar for those guys next week against the Steelers at home for Baltimore?
Well, it depends what the other option is.
Let's say it's Jordan Love, who's on the wire right now.
Yeah, or like a Trevor Lawrence against Indy would make sense.
Caleb, I think, is on the wire as well, maybe.
Love against Chicago. Caleb on the wire, but against Green Bay. Like, there's a couple options here.
Would you sit Lamar for those options next week? Or would you just play Lamar against the Steelers, knowing you can't live with yourself if you sit Lamar Jackson? Because I'm probably just going to go down with the ship, I think.
Let's revisit after what we see this weekend. Because if Trevor Lawrence like scorches Earth or something, like I could be.
I think my number one option there would be Love. And I already saw Love play, and he looked great. But he had like 23 fantasy points and had to throw 4 touchdowns to do it. So I think that even in a situation where I'm like, I don't want to sit Lamar Jackson. Well, he had 10 days of rest. Maybe he's a little bit better again. I can't defend how he's played. He's played like absolute shit the last 3 to 4 games. So my thought process is like, I don't want to be the guy that sits Lamar Jackson in a 1 week must win game. Because my lineup already depends on him anyways, because I have Flowers. So I might as well play him.
I don't mind that. I probably wouldn't either.
It sucks because I'll probably, if I lose and it's because of Lamar Jackson, I'll look like the biggest doorknob on the planet. But it's Lamar Jackson. I'm going to ride out the storm, I think. He probably played Lamar. Brian, I would imagine, probably played Lamar in this situation. And it's between Dart or Mayfield. If you didn't play Lamar, kudos to you, and you go with Dart and Mayfield. But I would say that you roll him with Dart over Mayfield there pretty comfortably. At running back, you got Bucky Irving. Derrick Henry, you would have already played, presumably. Hopefully you played Swift. I can't imagine you would have, but I would go ETN over Bucky Irving this week. I think ETN is too good of an option not to play, given that he's had like 20 plus touches in every game since the bye.
And
then
I would go ETN.
Henry would have already been in your lineup most likely as well. AJ Brown, hopefully you played him. I would say AJ would be in your lineup if you didn't play him. We'll talk about that in a second.
Pittman and Wilson would be if you didn't play AJ.
Would you play Pittman over Wilson or Wilson over Pittman?
Wilson over Pittman.
Yeah, I agree, especially with Daniel Jones's issues right now.
Very tough matchup for Houston against Houston too.
Oh, okay. All he needs, he said, he didn't ask the question right. He said, all I need is Bucky versus Cortland Sutton.
Ooh. I love this as a sudden bounce back, but fuck. Where do you lean here, man? I think this is the set and get right, but
I think that I'm taking the risk on Irving.
That's so close.
I mean, Brian, if you have like some of these, like if you played these guys, like chances are you're up in your matchup, right? Or I guess, I mean, Lamar was terrible, but like Henry had a good game and AJ Brown had a good game. So those guys gave you some decent production. I'd say you're probably about at expectation as far as like what you expected going into the week. Cause you got like 50 something combined points from AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, and Lamar. Just, you got there in a weird way because Lamar only had 7. But AJ carried you, obviously, so that's great. I think I would take the risk on Bucky, personally. If you feel like, okay, I need a little bit of a stable floor, a guy who's going to be out there for sure, then maybe you could go Sutton, but I think this is a good enough. You said you're going up against the number 1 team, too. Yeah, you got to trust that Bucky becomes the hot hand, I think.
Yeah, if you're going
Bucky's out there and he's getting the touches, it's going to be hard not to. It's going to be easy for him to outperform what Cortland Sutton does, who's basically been a wide receiver 3-4 type for the last 8 weeks of the year.
Sorry, my bad, by the way. I was setting some lineups.
No, you're good. I can just solo it if you.
I'll contribute on them still. Michael Wilson for sure is going to be my receiver here.
Yeah, Michael Wilson's in there. He has already.
Also, shout out DJ Moore turning back into a pumpkin when I don't play him. That's cool.
I mean, shout out me for not playing him because I knew he was going to turn back into a pumpkin.
What a fucking joke.
Apparently, Jake Laser said Terry McLaurin won't have his full reps, so he is going to be limited. There was one person that asked us if. About a Terry McLaurin one.
It was versus Kate Otten, though, which like I anticipated and I worked in the fact that he probably wouldn't be at a full route share. It's just given that it is a report, maybe that's like a Chris Godwin route share. So at that point, if you did want to switch to Otten,
I think I'd play Kate, knowing that McLaurin will be limited against the Broncos with Patrick Surtain back. Like that's not a good matchup. Yeah. Troy Franklin, Kenneth Walker, Quinshon Judkins, Alec Pierce. I'd play Judkins over these options, I think. You going Judkins versus Walker, I think, is probably the main decision here.
Got to go Judd.
Yeah, I'd roll with Judd. I like Walker this week, too, though. It wouldn't shock me if Walker has his best game of the year, and hopefully he does, because I need him to in the worst way possible in the Flock League. Anyways, that should do it for site questions. Yeah, I think that's all we got by the looks of it. If anybody has any last-minute buzzer beaters, feel free to shoot them in here. And we'll get to them. Yeah, I might just in case, because it's a really important and pivotal week here, I might just pull up our rankings and just show them at the end of the stream here so that people can get their questions kind of answered maybe by this route.
I'm cool with that.
Just because it's a really important week. I don't want to be cheaping out on some people here. Share this tab instead. Okay, so to show you guys running back stuff, you guys can see the territory of running backs that we have ranked here. This is like how we would handle. Oh, so this is their 2025 rankings here. Let's go to week 13. This is kind of how we would handle this territory of running backs, which I feel like are going to be the source of a lot of questions. You guys see that we have Kenneth Walker ranked here, RJ Harvey ranked about this range as well. The average number here is the expert. This is sorted by my rankings on the left side, and then Danny's rankings are on Danny's little logo here. So you can see how that's organized. You can see how we have it organized by Jalen Warren, Bucky Irving, Kamani Vidal, Woody Marks, Devin Neal, all those type of guys. I would imagine this should give you guys a good amount of answer and insight on some of these players. So yeah, if you have Devin Neal questions, for example, Woody Marks, Kamani Vidal, Bucky Irving, those guys, we would start ahead of them. And then, Kenneth Gainwell types, Aaron Jones types, Menengai, obviously locked in for a lot of people. Bam Knight, Chris Rodriguez, not really playable options. Moving over to the wide receiver position. You can see some of the options that we have in the like kind of start sit territory of where we have BTJ ranked. Both of us have him. I actually have him at 20. You have him at 24. The experts have him at 24. Pittman, I probably need to move Pittman down just a little bit because of this Daniel Jones stuff. Maybe I would change him and like Jameson Williams, Troy Frank. Like, would you start Pittman or Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton?
I'm probably going to move Pittman down. I would start BTJ over him, so I'm going to move him down to 24 at least.
And Jonathan, I don't believe you guys can, but we can when we're doing the rankings. That's a good question. That's something that the devs could maybe pull up, is add a flex position as the overalls that just removes quarterback out of that range. Can I just take wide receiver out? Yeah, no, maybe that's something that the devs can add for the fantasy playoffs. But yeah, that's the wide receiver position. You guys can see where we have like Franklin and Shakir and Debo and Harrison. Like, the expert average has Harrison at 40. There was a couple experts that probably didn't have him updated as far as where he was. I have him at 30. You have him at 19. You have Marvin at 19 this week?
Yeah.
You have him wide receiver 19.
Yeah, that's how little I believe in your guys' secondary.
Fair enough. I have him at 30. Like, it's not that I don't. I just am worried about him maybe having some kind of re-aggravation, snap share risk, and Jamel's back too.
I have both him and Michael Wilson back-to-back at 18 and 19. If Brissett's going to throw the ball 45 times for 300 yards every game, I have to rank these guys aggressively.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think,
and that's with McBride cooking.
I think if Harrison fails this week, it'll be because Dean. It makes a huge difference to our secondary. I think that's how he fails, because our defense was a top 8 unit in EPA per pass attempt allowed when Dean was out there, like before the Patriots game when he got banged up, and the Bills game he left early in.
Like, dude, Greg Dortch was fucking making money in his spot. He's averaging 65 yards per game without Marv.
No, he was. Yeah, you're right. That's crazy that you're still telling me to start Vidal if you believe in Marv that much.
I believe in Marv, but I have Vidal also ranked that high.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like wide receiver 19 versus RB 19 or 20, I think it was.
Okay, before locks happen here, I need to see what is the
honestly, I might just need to move. I might need to move fucking Vidal up. Like,
if you're starting him over Harrison, you have a wide receiver 19.
In what way does, like, I guess like the only issue is like talent wise, but dude, he's gonna be the lead back against the fucking Raiders this week.
I know, that's why I'm starting him, because I don't want to sit Harrison, but I'm like, I think I have to start Vidal, and the tiebreaker for me is just that Dean is back and Harrison could be limited. That's the only tie. If Dean was out and Harrison wasn't playing limited by any means, like he was off the injury report going into the game, I would probably have started Harrison over Vidal.
It's valid.
Yeah, we have no insight on Dalton Kincaid. A couple Bills people are saying that they expect him to be out, and Chess Liam, for whatever reason, is chiming in on that, being like, I think he's going to be out. It's like, all right, Chess, let's settle down. Tight end wise, if you guys need any start sits, this is what we have for tight end rankings. Kincaid, again, we probably need to move him down in my tight end rankings just because it doesn't look like he's going to play. And if he does, he might be limited to some degree. So I'd say if I moved Kincaid right now, I'd probably move him below Pitts and probably around where Taysom and TJ Hawkinson are, just because you can't really rely on him. If you have a pivot option, that's great. Like you want to go into like you have Zach Ertz on your bench or something, and you're like, I'll see what happens with Kincaid. Worst case, I play Zach Ertz. Then you could obviously do something like that. Or worst case, you play Theo Johnson on Monday or something.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
But I'm going to move Kincaid down because he probably needs to be moved down at the moment. Harrison or Mechie full PPR. Yeah, go with Harrison there. You're sitting Kittle. Why? I mean, I guess maybe the weather and the matchup, but like you can't really sit George Kittle, my man, unless you have McBride as your other tight end or Bowers. Because I have Kittle tight end. Actually, he's tight end 2 in my rankings. You have him tight end 4 behind Kelsey. Yeah, good on you for putting Kelsey tight end 3 because he kind of fried.
Yeah.
But anyways, we could sign out of here. Hopefully you guys got what you needed. I'll throw the quarterbacks up here one time just in case you need to make a quick assessment to your lineups. But for the most part, we're going to sign out of here. Hopefully you guys get your wins. I'm hoping all of you guys get the win that you need, whether it is a playoff, get in, bye week secure, get out of the toilet bowl, whatever you guys need. Hopefully you get your wins this week. Pray for me in the Flock League. Pray for Danny in the Flock League to get out of the toilet bowl. Bye.
Dude, I'm telling you, I know it's so petty at this point, but you don't understand. When you lose 6 games in a row, I don't even give a fuck that I'm out of the playoffs. Taking that joy away from Badaki is going to be worth it if I can win. Because genuinely speaking, when you lose 6 in a row, nobody else fucking matters. Like genuinely, I don't care about your Cinderella story. I'm trying to fucking take it from you because mine was stolen from me 2 weeks ago on a Monday night game.
Anyways, good luck to everyone out there. Peace out. And hopefully you guys get what you need.
Take care.